Dear Naruto Lemon fans, I'm thrilled to invite all of you to my Boosty channel, where you can enjoy exclusive Naruto Lemon scenes in a comfortable and supportive community. Choose from various subscription tiers, from Mini Lemon to God Lemon, and gain access to unique content tailored just for our fans. Plus, subscribers to over Naruto Lemon and God Lemon will receive special mentions in my videos. Support my channel and dive deeper into the world of Naruto today. Dare. They are running at each other, their favorite techniques activated in their hands. The blonde holds a ball with a huge concentration of chakrem, which is believed. And the brunette sparkles with lightning, which makes the sounds of birds chirping, and now a collision is approaching. One reduced the power of the technique so as not to kill, as he thought, his friend, but that's what they called the brunette. There was a different opinion. He, on the contrary, flew into the technique. The remaining chakran, leave only a little to stand on your feet during the collision. The Rasengan was not powerful enough. It dissipated. Akadoria pierced the chest, dug up along with the blonde's hand. He succeeded. Into the darkness, but suddenly found himself in the subconscious. And what am I doing? The blonde looked around and noticed how he himself called him super grandfather. You are here to receive a gift from me, she explained. I understand, he said sadly, but you're a little late. They pierced my heart with lightning. I had something to say about this and we will talk. People raised their eyebrows as if hinting that they don't understand a thing. I want to send you to the past, so that you can prevent this terrible war. There is a way to destroy it forever, it is within his power, it is replenished, you could say that he now has an infinite amount of me. I sat in his eyes, so he will accept my gift, of course. Directly, but wait, what will happen to me? I am not Kurama. What time is it in me? I can send it along with you, and there it will be immediately replaced by understanding. So we can consider you a full-fledged Kurama, it is clear, but can I talk about the slope, otherwise he might be against it? After all, he has been sitting with me for only 5 hours, although not a frame, and showed him memories, but still, okay, now the old man answered and began to fold the seal that where I am. This is the father, the cow was in shock. Long live the case. Not sent, this is in the past so that he could change history, prevent this future. So you will be whole. Okay, father, we do not agree, said the fox, after which he turned to the gang. But as soon as you get to the past, go into the subconscious, there are conversations, I will arrive earlier, since in fact I am a piece of chakra, said the Bijam. Okay, he turned to the old men. Well, super cool, grandfather, sage, let's begin. The sage smiled and folded several unfamiliar folk seals, after which Naruto passed out. He woke up with the sun that was in front of his eyes, realizing that he was in an old house that was destroyed. After Pain's attack, he descended into his subconscious again. Hello, Kurama, what would you like to say? He asked the blonde. Nothing, I just wanted to ask. What are you, you degenerate? He shouted. The forest hurts you. Why are you yelling? How the hell did you catch the technique? He yelled. We're in a screaming fit, he said. Pigeon, because he didn't want to kill a friend. It's going as well as you'll understand. That he almost never cared about you, burned the forest and continued from the memories of the part they pierce your chest for the first time. But that time when you were driving, you were friends, my chakra healed you, there are no words, yes, everything is crazy, as even you will understand, one made plans to take over the world, the second, he was fixed and killed by his son, his wife, who always treated him well. Let me remind you about your parents. The third, he preferred the village to his family, condemning Brett, whom he loved very much, to suffering, and the fourth is generally the most crazy. He didn't care about the old ones, they are a sacrifice, bro, and decided to kill all the Ks with upbringing, thereby starting a new war that would kill the inhabitants of Konoha, whom his delirium protected. And you know what? Most interesting, that Naruto, with a pale face, asked that they were all controlled like puppets, said the forest, which made Blondie smash us even more. Sasuke manipulated us, older, it will pass, forcing them to hate him and live a lonely life. It was also controlled by the village, forcing them to kill the entire clan. He will get bogged down somewhere. News for the arena that was sealed with himself. That same cool puppeteer manipulated his father and resurrected his mother, and that's for where to start. Should you know in general, I suggest you start studying the Hida of your clan Fondettes and why I wasn't interested in this before. Thank you for the advice, Karaman, but where should I teach him? You can ask for scrolls for the third one, and also Jiraiya knows fine. Well, yes, Uzumaki of course doesn't measure up, but still, and also during your journey you can look in the area. We'll sew it up, said Kurama. I nodded. And now the network in will replace my father, after which to leave me a little chakra without dispersing it through the channels. Boy, RA works better and will strengthen your channels more than yours. I would do it myself, but the seal is still too strong for this. I can disperse it myself together in 3, said EC. Meditations past the first day of stay in the past. I became again in the morning to start training. I wanted to learn Rasengan as soon as possible, and for this you need to have good control. So I ran into the forest to the river, which once had to improve chakra control with the help of a drip. I finished training in 30 minutes after sending the clones to Sing's training. I knew how everything should be, so the balls weren't needed. I was doing physical training at that time, because it doesn't transmit physical changes. I had to be at the academy, so after finishing training by 8 o'clock, I went home to get myself in order and head to the academy clean. During the training, I managed to complete 2 stages of my Rasengan. I didn't decide to switch to the elements. Hello, have you recovered after yesterday's visit? The class greeted me and I asked, hello, people. Not really there, but we'll have time to announce the team, she said, pointing to the desk. Are you hinting that I sit down? As soon as I sat down, I heard the girls' screams and remembered that today they were competing to see who would get a discount. We were looking into the class. Sakura stared at me. What are you doing? You failed the exam, she asked. I heard her, an irritated feeling in her head. Sakura approached the desk where I was sitting, and it wasn't at all a company to go out. I want to sit next to Skiko, but sit down. And I'm here next to you, I said, and smiled, my head growling again. The forest, what's wrong with him? Okay, since I'm here, let's start the distribution, said Lyoka, and he looked at the piece of paper in his hands. Start, Team 7 harnesses, Crimea, Naruto, 4. Makeup artist Sasuke. Your son is like Ashen, right? I'm cut from the team, I said, and got hit on the head by Sakura. Everyone, wait for the sensei, he said. He hit himself. I put my head on the desks, plunged into the subconscious. I wanted to know why he. Kurama growls that he found you. Why were you sticking out? What happened? God, why do I need such a stupid Jinchuriki? What's wrong there? Are you an idiot? Although why am I asking? Of course he's an idiot. So explain what's wrong or not. There's something standing there with that head. Not only that, he __. How can you like this crazy, abnormal, selfish hole, and why do you think so? Of course someone needs to set your brain straight. Remember your past life, __. This is fate. All my life dragging a nerd just because of his indifferent face, even when you saved me countless times. She didn't say anything to you except a short thank you. At first she even considered you ballast, although even then you were much stronger. He was selfish for playing on your feelings. Remember, I'm a fake. Confession which even you idiot noticed. I became straight. Alice is right, she never paid attention to me, and when you brought that or that person you're cut. You didn't even tell me. He jumped right away in an embrace with someone, and I'll remind you, you almost died on that mission. Yes, forgive me Kolya, maybe you have to keep unclasping everyone. It's decided from this day on I will send 10 clones to the library, and having studied all the knowledge I can, maybe at least this will increase. I will find out. Kemmer there. Wake up, I feel a check hand with cash, Alice said, threw me out of the subconscious. It's very bad. How long should I wait for this? I decided to repeat the joke with a brush as soon as Kakasha entered his head. The platform. The board will shorten the time, he justified himself. She said that I did it. This, __. Blocks, in the future, at least a little smarter, the first impression will become I don't like you. Let's share, on the roof, there he said, the move is such, disappeared, rustling. I stomped along the wall, which surprised everyone. So, let's start getting to know each other. Tell us about yourself, what you like and what you don't. I like hobbies, said an example sensei, but what I like I don't like. Hello, my name is Akihasa, with whom I like little and a lot of what I don't like. There is no dream, but there are goals. To restore the treasure again, one person. So this is mom. I thought, what a pass. Look at Sakura, come on, what I like and return who. Look, let's pump my dreams again. Look at check, and who I hate is the people, she said. I snorted in love foolishly. Flash to the head with poop. He looked at me. Will say that you will become as I eat her. Heard from the subconscious. I decided to listen myself, but you never know. He is a plant for make an era there. I like me betrayal, and the goal Yaga opened up. Brothers of the tailed beasts and take over the world, said I, and looked with a determined look at sensei after the command in the form of a face, and did not linger with all loudly infected. No, if seriously, I want to revive the clan, said Java. Kakashi's eyes widened. Which clone? Let's lock so his clan does not exist and did not exist. Brave Sakura, I did not do that. I endured. Listen here, Sukrem, behind the voice, I began. Why, even Kakashi slightly trembled that he had never heard such a statement about my clan again. I still distinguish myself. You are called my class, specialized in the background of the child. The crest of my clan is depicted on the vests of the Jonin as a reminder of the friendship of our village. Sakura blushed with anger, but just in case, he remained silent. How do you know about this information? How do you know so much? He looked at me with a suspicious squint like sensei. I don't trust them yet. I'll tell you when we are alone. Okay, tomorrow at exactly 5 o'clock B. At Training Ground 7. There will be a survival test. This is advice. They exist. You can throw up, but now you are free to come to me, he said. When we were alone, I decided to tell him a fictitious story. True, since you know who my parents are. He omits this moment. He said, I look at Kakashi-sensei, who expanded everything. Disney. A visible eye. Yesterday in a dream I ended up in the subconscious where he met with Rice. It turned out that the seal was arranged. So, when I get there, meeting with my parents, there will be even more about Kakashi. His uncovered eye widened, so I met them. They told me everything. My father showed me the dewdrops. I told you so far. And I smiled. And he almost didn't lie, but for some reason he trusted me. Asked how Ashen was, he was still shocked. Dad said that if you're still alive, I can turn to you for help and trust. I see. So what does my help owe me? He told me the truth, not quite help, it seems. I want to know something. What was the name of your friend who gave you the Sharingan, if you have its developed form? Why do you need it? I have one guess, but I want to make sure. Music. Here he threw it up, sucked it into a funnel, saying to whom I am not, let's turn on the acting skills. No, it can't be, what is this fool? Hotakim asked excitedly. Sensei, no matter how it sounds, but the promise is alive, said I and saw how his eye widened. It can't be, I myself saw how huge boulders crushed him, as it seems, he told me that when the children pulled out the tailed one and fixed it, the man in the mask showed me his memories and he had the same eye pattern, but he could move himself, that's for sure. He had a cutout for his right eye in his mask. But he couldn't attack the sun. I was stunned by the new information, said it turns out that he could. As it seems, if I find him, we'll kill him and you don't bother me, okay, I'll tell your guest to the Hokage. He wanted to continue. But I interrupted him. No way, about this. Okay, people, I won't tell anything. I will help you with the murder. If this is true, he is sensei, your mother treated me very well. I will not forgive him for what he did. Thank you, as it seems, and see you on tomorrow's mission. Yeah, your plan worked. Excellent. Now you have an ally against this. Fox praised me. I went to train in the forest. I need to hurry up. Articles at home. I couldn't even imagine that this was possible, but his words aren't groundless. Everything affects both Tempo or the one who stole his eye. But if the higher-ups don't even know about it, then the signal in the enclosure didn't work on him. They work not only on those who are presumed dead. What happened? What did you do that? At night? Kakashu never fell asleep. He was as usual. I woke up early in the morning. I finished my water treatments and headed to training. Everything was as usual. Today, I decided to send them to training. Photo of shuriken. The expression definitely won't hurt me. I was again working on improving my physical fitness. I could already use one tail of the frame, so training is faster. I got less tired and used more clones. After finishing the training, I, like yesterday, went home to wash myself. 9 o'clock. I was at the training ground where an irritated Sakura, indifferent to Sasuke, was waiting for me. Sakura was yelling at me for hours. Don't yell, you idiot. I yelled at her, her eyes widened in surprise. After all, I'd never called her by her name before, but on the contrary, I'd said goodbye and allowed her to hit me on the head. God, how can you be so stupid? He was 2 hours late for his assignment, and as an excuse, he said he got lost on the road of life. I don't think she intended to put it, but then why did you only come now? Let's say it's 3 o'clock, I'll put it, which, during the assignment, transmits information as soon as he left. I came here, but considering that he comes here and reads a book, he'll be here for about 10 hours, no sooner. I said, no, Claude, of course. I didn't send it, I just knew he would come at 10 o'clock, so you ate, even though Sensei said not to eat, he said and sneezed. Okay, Sakura. But you, Nipples, should have understood that he wants you to be weaker for the tests. Moreover, it wasn't an order, but only advice. Remember his words, he was very silent. He understood that I was right after the evening, you won't be able to pass this test. 10 o'clock, we were already at the training ground. As Sensei said, he appeared at 10. I'm sorry for being late, you put it down. The faucet shouted. Sorry, I was helping Grandma cross the road, he said, making a vocal bow. How does he do it? A voice from the subconscious. Okay, before we begin, I'll explain to you how. The tests will be conducted. You must take away and exchange the bells. Whoever doesn't have a bell will go back to the Pump Academy, and there are only 2 bells left. One of you will need to be disqualified, and I'll leave the timer at 12. Recently, serve as if you want to kill me. He started and finished, his nipples hid and disappeared from view. Why did you stay? Because the goal is to take away the bells. We won't pass your test. Why? Do you think so? Although, because the person considers us ballast. Ace, except for the hatred, but somehow connected to my test. Stop mocking me. It's clear that the essence of the test is teamwork. A hyena will never defeat the elite. And you got caught when you said that someone should be excluded, considering that in the village you can't not train us. I'll finish the porridge. My eyes almost flew out of orbit from surprise. But I can remove the secret. You can't. It should consist of 3 people. And there are no worthy replacements left in our class. Okay, you want the exam concluded. What happened? How did Ashley? Time hasn't passed yet. Yes, he figured it out. It's an exam and he's right. You wouldn't have passed. He spoke to you with poop, nipples, sugar. They looked at me and shrugged. I said, nothing unusual. What will they show you these 2 days? Has he really been going on here all these years? At the academy, he was getting angry with someone. No, I won't lose to this loser. He's okay, since I still can't. Separate qualify, explain, test, was to check, can you work as a team? We will work exactly that. Let's start with the fact that you remember my words, those who do not obey the touch are scum, but those who abandon friends are much worse than scum. Everyone looked at me, Kakasha sighed, tomorrow is the 8th first mission, don't be late, she said, Shurshinyan, I wanted to leave, as he put his hand on my shoulder, with whom, wait, am I hiding something? Take your hand away, Uchiha, I hide my true skill like a real shinobi, and not like a show-off who regularly overwhelms the girl with attention. I grinned and continued walking in the direction of the residences. I wanted to play the Forbidden Scroll again to study the second technique. So why not take a couple of techniques? He smiled at me, I think with my own thoughts, by the way, who were you, sealed mother, can you show pairs and memories of your houses? Go down into the subconscious to the right showed several seals, namely the seal of the spatial pocket, the seal of paralysis and the seal of chakra suppression. He also showed me how my mother studied Pharmacium with the help of clones. I can learn everything in a month or 2, since now I know how to compose. Fina can invent my own seals with memories, so I couldn't show it directly because, as I understood, seals that completely cut off Lamu from the outside world. 2 months, 2 months. The task. If I didn't like the third one anyway, because he lived until now, I live like a bum, you just hate him now. Justin herself. Please send a noble on my head, why? Because I can't cope with temptation quietly in front of the old man. Okay, that's not the point now. In 2 months I learned to pass the Rasengan with one hand. I managed. I had time to perfect my beloved Russian river. I studied the seals of the pocket space, which kindly showed me a certain Roman managed to learn the air push technique, which used the menu from the illusions in which he once threw me treasures there. It turned out that the basis is the air palm of the Hyuga clan. As I wanted, I stole the scroll of the second technique in order to study Hiroshina, but what was my joy when it turned out that my second element is water. Now I have another one, the purpose of which is to happen in the second mastery of the saint, we studied, he up in 2 months, I didn't have time. But it was very close because I almost made my own zone, the lighthouse seal, in short, here and the day of the mission of the rank of whole came. Yeah, of course, Ranga seal, these brats under the place. Yes, they themselves should help, especially the little ones there, the old man said, here I am training, I just haven't progressed, it's a shame at all, there I decided to take revenge on him for these words, Iganiko smiled. Come on, you're saying this as if you were given genids for the entire maternity hospital, he said, I was in everything. 32 and the old man covered himself in the house, they can easily handle the task. Besides, an elite Jonin is with you. Okay then, I'm not worried, she said. Looking at the team, we're leaving in an hour, you see, you'll gather everything you need. Messy, don't be late, she also said, no. Who would talk? They said, Sakura and I are in unison. The road was boring. I had to listen to a lecture about hidden villages in Kaggle for the second time. That's who I respect. The Iska kids, who are like Soundagens. The first is because he's ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of the kings, for example, to punch someone in the face. It wasn't like that at all. Stop him then, Harry, he would have killed himself with someone and I wouldn't have had to die trying to return. This ungrateful beast. How stupid do you have to be to believe that Itachi was able to cut out the clan's honestly active volume, and this is only the active ones, it seems. I got distracted. So I respect you for being able to understand the village from its knees after the Civil War. In this, it's somewhat similar to the soldiers who pulled the village back twice. The road was boring and I was glad that I finally saw it. It seems you want to see new techniques. The Christmas tree asked the poop that arched his eyebrows. The guys wanted to ask a question like, what did they sing about there? He began to form the difference between the Rican with the help of one clan until the power of age I could bring control chakra and form and element to a level at which I can form a technique with one hand for the acquisition. I wasn't worried, because the chicken is the best in the medic. Photons grow in the river. Well, I shouted, and the technique flew straight into the skis. The poor demon brothers didn't even have time to react before they hit the chakra vortex. The wind of poop raised the bandage that I just realized, Hirjika, you can't eat pies, but it's a crappy technique, you won't be able to copy the technique of the rank demand. Shocked, he began with poop. Please tell me that it wasn't Razum Hans, the element of wind, good. It wasn't racing with the element of wind, I said. I video, relief on Samsa's face, I'm sorry, that's not true. Shocked. His second time, yes, you were able to improve the male's technique, I nodded. What are you talking about with poop? I was talking about the cop, navigation fork gem. Shocked the students with poop, resin gone, he invented it, but even he couldn't improve it, where did this come from? Come on, such power will never be lost to him. Who taught you this technique? Sasuke asked. It seems when you left after meeting, I asked him to teach me this technique in a commanding tone, I told the Czechs, forgive Sasuke, but you'd rather go on a date than hear this technique. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw how sad Sakura became. But I can teach you another technique that is weaker than racing, but also applies to us. The ranks before her need poems, lightning, draw chakra on a piece of paper, said Sensei, and I did as he said. The aristocrat's hands crumpled. Congratulations. You can master the technical school. When will we start? I need to get stronger as quickly as possible. There's no point in better chakra control. You already have good control, enough for 2 uses. Shring is needed for ease of use. Sensei. How much more powerful chakra can you use? You're also a perfect version. I asked the sacrum, but it's about 6 times more than all of us combined. Never before. I felt so insignificant. Where did I turn to Naruto? Where did you get so much chakra from? Calm down. We all have a lot. Don't be upset. With age and training, it will expand, man, it's good. When will we start improving? As soon as we get home. Don't you want to tell us anything on behalf of Narvi? There, you need it. Arrogant asshole, if I had a teacher for the sake of the children, like you did at the academy, you would never defeat me here, and my friend is right, everyone, even after whose clan was massacred, he had an extensive clan library left, in which I'm sure everything was written down, training and scrolls with techniques, considering that he could use fire from an early age. He could have raised his level, I agree, but I always thought that he was a genius who works on his own. I trained alone. Take into account mistakes, there are no limits to the roads. And you bastard, interfered with my chakra control, which is why I couldn't progress normally. Can you forgive me for hating you then? Sarcasm, he said, Forest. Yes. Screw you, toilet mat, he said. I hope he didn't answer. He became, probably, now. We've already left boats in a little bit and we'll meet behind their window. They need to be saved, otherwise they will be revived with help until the end, and many people will die. But how to do this I'll just forget to convince, and in life I definitely don't want hacks for this. So we need to stretch this moment out. How to show up Gotham? There is a plan. We need to think about the execution. We need to intervene at the moment when Kakasha will be preparing his Rari Karam. Several that Gata came to kill everyone, and this will stop him. Where at this moment I will have time to knock out what looks like a plan after some time. As it seems, the articles do not need to kill him now. There is no point for us to attack each other. What did you take? The guy asked for the brawler. Us, that my clone whom I left just in case at the other end of the bridge transmitted information that once came and wants to see all of us. It turns out I heard the patient. We will come as if spit. I told you, Moken, of course. Mercenaries, although weaker, real, you think, with several rolled up states. And still laugh. This is what the brawler got. Mad guys, give me a kunai please. Asked Makinina. I fulfilled his request, ran to the mercenaries, entered the crowd and began to destroy the GTM mercenaries with particular cruelty. He cut off their arms, legs, and heads with ordinary gunnery. That's what a bloody Toastmaster's demon means. After the mercenaries, he slowly walked towards the shorty. When he slowly approached, he abruptly cut the rich man's throat. He thought there was no point in us fighting anymore. This nodded. In that case, Miskako, let's leave here. Afterwards, the conscious body, as you know, Naruto. I turned to him. There's no point in on the mission level anymore, I said, making my eyes smile. Okay, Sensei, with the help of the Myclans, the bridge was completed in 2 days. And a day later, we were in Konoha. Tell me how you liked the missions. What difficulties were wonderful? Rank 3 mission, the old man said. I'm the 3rd, choked on smoke from the beating. We met the demon brothers and a supply of urine, an accomplice, hack. How should we understand this? What kind of SHM in general is the customer occupying the market, the Messiah due to lack of money? I'll provide a full report in a day. A lot happened there, good, free. When we left, as Osh ordered. Nipples, juice, speeches, awards. And he detained me. Explain to me that you somehow knew that this is turned to demons. I don't know anymore. A shinobi who uses such a weapon, so he did it. Like, he should believe it. Good, he can live in a day. A week has passed since we returned together in the country. During this time he learned the technique. And also decided to sign a contract with animals to whom he provided a wife. Imagine my surprise when it turned out that I was predisposed to toads. That's probably why it was so easy for me to perfectly master the toad hermit mode. That's perverted. The hermit will surprise me himself. I don't have enough patience anymore. You see, I decided with him that he would be the one who would know the whole truth about me, even though I don't want to reveal my identity to anyone, but I can't lie to someone who has become like a father to me. I'll have to ask him to teach me fine, after all. My mother didn't have time to learn everything. More about this will be. What's the cost of just sealing the elements? He can also help me compose my form. You're losers. I composed it before, of course, but it works. Even worse than the formula for the second one. And I want speed like my father, or even left. The exam time has passed. We started. This time I plan to pass this exam. It will be interesting. After all, I won then. Using the clans as bait, then showed what could have been. It would seem like a hopeless situation. I won on your tail. You will return to the village for prey, having learned Rasengan along the way. I won if there was one, which I will remind you that I sent Sailor Amur. He can compete with Kakashi-sensei. And I'm still a genin. How the hell are you? Okay, it's time to get ready and go to the meeting with sensei to know about the exam and pick up the bars, for I said, I'm an hour late. Sorry about the turds, I'm late, maybe right away, where he agrees. In general, I recommended you for the exams. I said, I'm in the bank on participation. You need to remember these forms to participate in the exam. Who wants to participate? Be in room 301, room 8, 3, he gave. The forms disappeared. Listen, he said, I'm a Sokabalnik. They turned around, although they irritated me for the reasons that were voiced, my bark, but I enjoyed spending time without feeling the team spirit. Said, but if at least one of us doesn't participate, then the whole team won't. So I want to know if you will participate. How do you know? Asked the case a week ago. I listened to the conversation of Team 10. Clear, I will participate. If he will, then I will. Okay, so before the academy at 7:30, they answered well in unison. We went our separate ways. I remember that. At the exam, I'll save nipples for sinks. Karen, now I set a goal to save her, fix her brain. She also dried up, we'll get it. I suspect that she went after that. I sorted it out. And what she saw there, experienced it, I can't imagine. Yes, they started my clan. It's the leader's duty to take care of their people at the first stage of the exam. I didn't change anything. Except that I wrote the answers to all the questions. Otherwise, like last time, I won't get the title of Chinin because I failed them. In return, she's already flown into the window, this crazy Angama. Great, snotty girl, she shouted at us. 23 teams, missed 23 teams, you're getting old, she said. I confessed, it's just this year. A lot of good genius, Doff, answered me indignantly. Okay, in 30 minutes. At the 44th stage, she said, after which she jumped from the balcony. The psycho at the entrance, I again heard the boring announcement. After which we took the scroll and moved into the forest. At the second stage, I also didn't dare change anything. Besides the fact that he himself descends from the bear. A flashback. Here we were moving through the forest. I remembered that it was here that I unlearned the nipples. Upon returning, I told him that when he returned to us, he saved the red-voiced girl from the bears. I also, like the nipples, then said that I need to sharpen myself when I went out onto the field. She saw that the team members. I decided to try the burst wave technique and cut the poor bear into 2 pieces. As I asked, I smiled at her good-naturedly. Okay, thank you, her voice trembled with fear, and for now, everything will be fine. What is your name? Korean dogs? The girl answered, great. She doesn't understand. She looked at me. And forgave me. My name is Azuma Kanara there. I want to restore our clan in Kanak. So. What can I say? I said that I am the head of the clans. I smiled at the dog, her eyes burned. I said that I was the last one. She started crying. I didn't understand. Was it because it seemed she wasn't the last one, or because of the past shock, my emotions were higher outwardly? Thank you, I hugged her. She is absolutely normal. Especially to be cured, that's why the village of grass used me like a battery, she said, and lived, a lump. No shame for them. But you won't leave me, but my eyes began to well up again. I said, of course not, under no circumstances. Then you won't come back then. I didn't allow it, I said, and hugged her again and calmed her down. Thank you. Thank you very much. She pressed herself closer to me and began to cry, but this time I was sure that this was happiness. I will take care of you. You will endure me. How? Will I agree, unless I allow you not to stay? How can I start a war against Konoha? Don't worry. 3. I have leverage. You died. And since you signed the bank that Konoha is responsible, there will be no problems. Thank you for what you do for me. She said, lying there. I was stronger. Although it would seem that I could do even stronger. There is nothing good fast than the army. Accurately, the attachments they changed a lot, only a little more battered. The poor snake. Now I don't care about this egoist with Galia's duck hairstyle. On the contrary, it's to my advantage that he will kill another Uchiha. It's a pity that you can't kill him yet. After defeating Zeus, of course, it will come to that. I personally turn off his head and feed the chickens, and I'll tell you who I returned with. Although you have no idea. I promise you again that it's true. I'm not going to get stronger. Come back yourself and go home already. In the tower when they opened the scroll. Hi guys, I just got busy and my hand noticing Krasnov in the light with a hook. And who is Karina for Makan, a member of my clan? Now she will become the residents of Kankia. I need to go to the third one. It's clear you can't leave the territory of the tower, and she will be here in 2 days. He said as he cut off his hands. Understood. In that case, she will be in our team's room. I looked at him and returned and blushed for some reason. I hope they will be the same as Skina, and I thought, Forest, good people there, he said. Roka, then turned to everyone. You can rest, I'll feed these. I'll inform the third Sanyam. Having finished, he also told Shinshina. We went to rest. Although now I'm at the level of a strong Chinina. But even I need rest, leader. We were gone for 2 days. During this time, I learned the most about Karina. It turns out her childhood was as difficult as mine. We understood each other perfectly. So, what kind of knowledge is there? Pain, loneliness, Makaron, of course, life was similar to mine, but now I won't let her be offended. I'll do everything so that she no longer experiences the pain she experienced. I'll teach her everything I can, as I said. Roko Sensei third and all the tower. I immediately went to him to talk about Karainu. Hello Strig third hello retain what I wanted asked monkeys during the exam. Found a girl from the village of grass in the ocean I want you to let her stay in Konohi and for her to become a full-fledged shinobi then he was not considered a human therefore we are happy to join us Naratem I cannot accept if there is a problem with hidden grass we will not find this I. Juice lovers died force bear nothing stops us declare her dead. Otherwise I will release to cannot do after how it comes out. The old man began to intimidate here they are forget about how the ocean clan howls and death is not for me. He threatens, and Kiba won't touch me. After all, I freed him from prison. The ads are dead. She can join your clan right away. He surrendered. He understands that I'm right. Excellent. I'll pick up your documents tomorrow. They're gathering you. Here they gathered for jumping. Heka Hayat came out in front of us. The examiner of the third stage announced that too many people had passed. There was nothing to do to bring the qualifying fight. So, everyone agreed, except for the point. The only interesting things were the Baihina Tiny Jam, which we still need to straighten out. We need some no-name tires, which he easily defeated. And of course, my fighting fights. Stay loser, you won't defeat me. Kiba said. I was just growing up. I was tired. The stance then comes a dream that I invented. It turns on quickly and powerfully. We hit with the Hyuga clan style bonus. Since now I had more powerful sensory abilities that I got, I could even turn off the tank with difficulty. My father, ours, not in debt, but I didn't have the seal of the 5 elements, so it wasn't difficult for me to knock out the Kip, just the qualifying fight. I took Karen to my home, I was ashamed of living in such a cold place. I need to throw out the house. My parents are spending money on the house. Someday it will become like this. So, will someone help me with this? Call us or us? As soon as I become a staunch supporter, they should tell me about my parents and give me an inheritance. Forgive me for moving you into your little house, don't worry. Soon I will arrive at the mansion that was supposed to be my parents' inheritance. I felt the back of my head next to her. For some reason, I was embarrassed about nothing. I'm glad I'm used to this. We were there. It was less. Tomorrow. I'll bring you your documents and you can keep the news quiet. I won't let anyone use me as a battery for anyone. Anyone who touches you with bad intentions. I said. I still have to do what the villages treated her with. Thank you for the rotoclones. I'm grateful to you. She said, blushing. Okay, as I understand it, he told you. They essentially didn't train you at all. She nodded. Okay. Tomorrow, you'll train me. I'll always be there. It looks like everything will be exactly as it was. Skins, then I thought about the chickens and made a facepalm. Now. At least I noticed that the girl is beautiful. The river there, why do I need such a Jinchuriki? I asked myself. Cut. You told you now. But you know, I'm on the left, that I've already managed to fall in love. Although it's not surprising, he saved me from the bears, saving the trees that didn't consider me a person. He also wants to provide a good future, and this is his soothing, warm chakra. I just want to come up and hug him. Feel his warmth. He came. So the day has passed. Today, finally, a new one. I see my godfather, but I think I can bomb a little. It seems, he trained more with whom she, Sakura, avoided. In fact, he didn't teach me anything about chakra control. I would have found out anyway, and if I hadn't been a stupid idiot, I would have found out that the main thing is transferring the experience of a 6-year-old with a turn. He did it to him right away. More for me, this is still considering that. My father's cyclopist. Well, why the hell did everything go so wrong? He took everyone for, don't replies to him about the bombery, they'll have enough. In general, and the Social Security office. We're moving towards the hot springs. I decided not to tell him that I can control chakra, even better, no way. I really wanted Rosanine to slap him in half again, so I saw him. Alive, healthy, happy, doing what he loved, looking at the girls when we approached to do this, I didn't recognize. Sanida, I almost burned him, scooping up inspiration, why did I row? You invented my teachers, who do you think you are, who pretended to be with yourself from the past? It's good that I asked, I am a great fat sage, I answered sideways with grief, it will part 1 am not by chance peas yet where do you live, like surprised, I asked, how do you know, boy I performed the summoning technique without a contract I said, making a cross, then unrolling the scroll behind my back. And asked you are probably the Zamaki and godparents and what did he ask, I am afraid, Jiraiya. I hear the word godparent twitched what, please repeat yes, they already carried their godson once, I didn't have time to agree since they pressed me into an embrace I feel so sorry for him that I heard a crunch forgive Nori, there I was not allowed to take your braids on myself and forbade contact with you I returned to the village what to look at you at the exam, red ones, I began seriously let's go to the waterfall. North of here we need to talk okay he said and we went to the same waterfall. Where he taught me how to use the summoning on red end don't you want to learn your father's technique, you? First Shinganu he nodded from this blue balls we already know did you really? Tell everything he and even allowed me to learn the technique come on, I'll explain to you, I'm not quite the same people there, these words made me tense, how can I tell you, tell me straight. He was more serious than ever, in general, I came from the future, his eyes widened, I went home, 36 ways to fix the future, what happened there and how old are you, we had World War IV there, from these words he came back, after all, he survived 2 wars, many people died in my time. I started crying calmer, tell me who died there, you said. A dear person in life, words, he noticeably shuddered, it's not every day. You meet a godson who came from the future and survived your death, how old are you when you died, 16 on. War turned 17 on the same day I died at the hands of what I consider my best friend I didn't want to kill him that's why. Sing weakened but he had other intentions he pierced my heart now I won't believe like I did then with Skeeto last. Let him die completely it was through the nipple yes as soon as I found myself in. This time with you explained to me that everything is crazy in the head I started crying again and pressed myself to my godfather he don't cry I won't die on this I will never let you cook or I won't know what you said Nagata but I heard that he died spoke. A charade on Sanyen survived created an organization then why did he beat me he was mired in darkness because of death he believed that it was you to blame for his death because he asked them after your death I was taken away. With the help of clones and the next week with the help of the same clones he mastered Toad fight at. Juriev's eyes widened more and more in surprise he could not perfectly master the art of the sages in his entire life and then him we mastered it completely in just 4 weeks. When I returned to Konoha, it turned out that Nagata had completely destroyed the village. Jirai had whittled it down. I fought him to the last, but in the end, he still got the better of me. He almost killed me. My good friend entered the battle against him. As a result of which I almost died because she died and he went crazy with him, taking control of me. When he almost broke free, my father appeared and helped me. I asked, is Minato alive? No, it was his chakra. He sealed his chakra with it. Mom is impressive. What's helping us? He was supposed to appear when I win his tail, and Mom, when I try to fix the forest, but how did I fix it? He asked, he was there before, but in the war, we became friends and now we good friends. I stunned the teachers once again. Godfather in one bottle. By the way, at that time, I hadn't yet opened the seal. I wanted us to do this together. I would gladly see them. On his hand, he glowed with part of Jirai. He will soon see his student. His wife. Okay, sit down and fuss, and Jirai did as I said, and we appeared as sewers with pipes in my subconscious. I rose up with the help of Roman's chakra and wanted to remove the seal on me, but the hand itself stopped me. Hello, Dad. He hugged him. What's going on? Why did you want to remove? Jason sighed. Father was surprised. Hello, student, he said. He hugged the blanket. Everything is fine. I said this now. I raised my thumb up again. Why are you removing the seal? We arrived here from the future. The timer went far away, and on the back of the head, the unthinking path sent us here there. And we managed to become friends. So don't be afraid. Another force is taking over. I'm definitely not going to. Father looked at me and I nodded. Okay, I approached her, embraced. What are you worth? Come together. Let's hug, I said. They came up, we hugged together. Gifts since you grew up, but why did you open the seal? Mom said menacingly. What made you disperse us? We retold her everything, talked about a lot about my life, talked about what is happening in the world, about how I live, leave what in a one-room hut. Parents were ready to materialize in reality. He to give a good punch, who knows there. Our time ends sadly. Mom said, I hope you live a good life. You and Minato are proud of you. At the core, our clan turned to the family that you were not. You know, the girl looks like me. Already crying, Mom said. From these napkins I already started crying. Follow your own amused volume. Never give up. Mom and Dad are already disappeared. We are together with heat, and the last time we hugged tightly and they evaporated. Thank you for this. Gobbles also wanted to cry, but he held back. Thank you, Ira Sanina, you were like a father to me somewhere. Thank you again. He hugged him. Okay, enough of this whining, Bishainabe. Let's train. Come on, but what can I teach you? Otherwise, everything related to your childhood, especially symbols. How to create seals, even though my bark showed. My mother's memories are for us. She hasn't learned much of this knowledge yet. We don't have enough knowledge to create an effective formula for flight. Side by side, thunder. Okay, let's start tomorrow. Now he smiled slyly. Let's go to the adjacent baths. You can't imagine how I am. That's why I downloaded the perverted hermit said. I smiled happily. Next week, I was trying my best to carry out one after the current. When I told something, they called me the most unpredictable, not even a decanate. He suggested that I justify this with a nickname. He said that it is possible to try to create clones without a seal. I would agree with him. As never before, I imagine that time hides, creates clowns, will kill faster, the enemy whom I occupied with myself, our wall flows. This will not only allow me to do something unpredictable, but will also make it easier for me to put seals on the enemy. Using clans he's in a combination with open palm strikes like the South. Another justification for the nickname will help Horatian, to whom we came up with a new mark suitable for me. To master Horatian, of course, it will take time. This is already huge progress. Let's caress. Do you caress very well? She turned out to be quite talented. I trained her in the shadow year, and with their help, she can already run and jump on water. He knows how to use hengi. We also found out her poetry. He's excellent. The element of his name turned out to be water. For me, fire is used very well. The ocean is also used. I also think that when he returns, he should go to the village. But I can't spend all my time training today. I decided to stay home and rest. Karen was also exhausted from constant training and also stayed home. When I finished water procedures, I went down to the kitchen, wanted to cook something, and what a surprise it was when I saw that a cute girl was fluttering around me in the kitchen with her foreskins, looking at me, don't remember. Somehow an illusion, drowned there. Mom did the same. When I saw this, my heart began to beat faster from Karina's face. Yesterday I found out that the horse wants to rest today and train and sweat all day. I think this is an excellent reason. In the usual place, Vanya finished next to me and went down to cook something. It's good that Nori is drinking now. I'll have time to cook everything well. As they say, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. You should put yourself in the kitchen and started cooking together. Sop. Let's like it. I'm almost finished. He came down. In 5 minutes, so everything will be ready. But as soon as Admira smiled, I immediately forgot about it. Yesterday, what are you cooking? I asked about this miso soup. I hope you like it. Yes, you guessed it right. I love him almost as much as Roman. The frame means it's based. It looks like it will be a novel. I'm from a family. I smiled. I told you this and started pouring cups. It's very tasty somewhere. I learned to cook like this. She asked, she taught me this. Mom. When she was still alive, my voice became lower. This is a memory. Forgive me, Karen, I didn't want to remind you about this. Nothing, everything's fine. After breakfast, Oleg, a journalist, grew taller and began reading some scroll. As he explained to me, it was a copy of the scroll. The technique he wanted to study. The theory behind the technique. Heavenly cry. She was conceived and so for a very long time that I myself already ran into the kitchen to cook a novel. Yes, his stomach and my heart are simply perfect. A novel is even tastier than the old man. And you taught me these words. I blushed a little. You'll be a great wife. This is what I was measuring up on, like hair color. Stop embarrassing me. I shouted into the clouds. Why did he whittle? Good, good, Maharu. Kami. He said, that's great. Karen, I'll listen. I invited him to join us. For tomorrow's training, he's a teammate, he's good at fire poetry and will teach you fireball techniques. She's not against it. No, I'm not against it. And you? You'll teach me a new technique, of course. What will it be, the water wall technique? But that's after training in fire poetry, you need to learn the window ball. Yes, you'll train in skating for 2 hours. And I'll try to learn the heavenly cloak. Okay, then I'll go to bed tomorrow. A tough training awaits me. Then I'll go to bed too. A tough training awaits you. He grinned while he said, I was already in the setting sun. The next day, the training was really good. I was able to learn the techniques I wanted. And it ended more difficult, so a significant amount of force was going on her, but I was in a lock and readability held out until the moment I learned the water wall technique. Karen, you take a lot and mercy, good job, he praised me. And smiled, my sunshine, my even more, yes, now you want, I can't do anything. He took me to the river, I'll carry you, he said. I blushed, here I got rid of my first dream I hugged for free, it's his soft warm chakra drove me. Myself, I pressed myself to him, no sticking throughout the whole way, let's go to the house. He headed to his room, which is now mine. He put me on the bed, shook peacefully at night, turned around, what to pull. Stop sleeping on a hard, small, uncomfortable sofa, there is enough space for both of us. Saying this, I even more I want my back of the head, said he. I don't want to listen to anything. Put me at your place, and this is already an inconvenience, so you are still sleeping on an uncomfortable sofa, I said menacingly. Okay. Okay, he gave up. Naruto climbed under blanket, and after 5 minutes the basis I looked at. The cute snoring behind Mac Chem. These walruses and antennae were very cute. He from this I unconsciously came with him. He is warm chakra gray and calmed, yes, so that I was tired in 2 minutes. I woke up because of the hated by the whole world. Through the dream itself I wanted to get up and go in one, but I felt a slight heaviness on my chest. Looking closely in this heaviness I recognized Karen, who was sweetly snoring. I admired and did not want to get up. What should I wake up? You what for? Admired her for nothing. Yes, nothing of the sort. Idiot. Yes, why do I have the same Chiriki Riku? Yes, now what's wrong? Are you serious? I have to straighten your brains out again. Okay, once again problem. Remember your mother's last words. How is this connected? I don't understand you. Such moment somehow connected. I'm just in this to find a girl. Well, and how is this connected with yours? Do you really want to match me with her? But why? Idiot. Remembered she said that you found a girl similar to her, and Karen, you could say that Kushina's copy is well cooked. Of course, not yet like the Kushins. Strong due to persistent training, just like the Kushins, it instills animal fear. I was convinced of this last night when I couldn't refuse her. It reminds me of the same thing as eat us, and I'm with all this. You both look very similar. I don't understand what I was looking at him for. But I looked at him. He was a castle. Both don't really love their village. They don't really want anyone but themselves. Such people should be together to overcome opportunities together and support each other. Yes, if you look at it from a political point of view, then for a purebred, a castle is an ocean, and your children will be just as purebred, as you know. Although, wait, I didn't tell you that. I didn't say anything, but I watched. You know that more people live behind sinks than others, so here are the Uzumaki. Rapidly weakens if loses connection with blood beyond my ocean. It follows that if you have children, this is not locked, then they will be weaker than you. I am enduring, and most importantly, they will die. Before, I wavered. It follows that if you do not understand your life with someone else, that is, your family will die before you, so I wanted to say that you are better with her, because firstly, you are perfect for each other. You will not live a long and happy life. Yes, I noticed how your heart beats faster when dressed, so you are already in love. But so stupid that you do not understand this. You finished your next one. Thank you for all this. You are helping me out once again. I ran up to this one on the 6th rug in my subconscious, hugged him myself like this. Forgive me, I didn't mean to. Okay, get out of here, I want to sleep already. Before that, I am the bride, she will wake up now, said Rice. I blushed a little. Okay, calm, promise that tomorrow I will confess everything to her, saying, this is me leaving with my subconscious. I waited for my princess to wake up. I decided to pretend to be asleep so as not to confuse Korean. She woke up but didn't get up and said that she loves me now. Save the bears. I didn't expect this. She was incredibly happy. I became half an hour after Karen. Going down to the kitchen, I saw a girl in a green apron, and why did my heart almost jump out? It seemed to me that it was my mother. They say correctly that a man seeks wives similar to their mother. A hot romance awaited me on the table. The most delicious thing I've ever eaten. Perhaps it's because she did it with the hands of a loved one, but we will never know. Because you will never love like that. I hope, of course. Good morning. Checks, I ate a wonderful dish. Will you go to training today or don't you want to for yesterday's overexertion? No, I won't go. I'm really overtired. Okay then. I'll go. I have training. As if at 5, I smiled and went to the training ground. Today, I didn't work out myself, but granted this privilege to the moons in order not to get dirty. I just wanted to have training in the evening. A picnic on the mountain playing hockey. Do you think I'm so romantic? No, that's not what he offered me. Kuriyama, when my father did the same on the first date. After finishing training, he often went towards the store and Monaco to buy a bouquet of red roses. As Kuriyama recommended to me, saying that he was sealed with 2 women, Uzumaki. After all, I don't eat him. When I went into the store, I said hello to my son. Hello, and to us. Hello, people there too. She said hello to us. What's up? She asked the girls in a rude manner. Well, then at least it will be normal that you'll stop chasing Sasuke. Yes, I really wanted a bouquet of red roses. Horoscope a bouquet. Did the girl really appear? While it's not clear, he said, I'll feel the back of my head today, admit it, we'll see, she'll shine. I always liked such conversations. It seems she's cuckooing. Yes, calm down. There, I don't know you, I answered. I lowered my head. Okay, here's a bouquet for you, pizza. For 3, having paid, I moved the flowers to a spatial pocket so they wouldn't get in the way and headed towards home, but I couldn't find it either. I decided to ask about it. Like in a movie, when I approached the door, I heard someone knock. Forgive me, or couldn't find me, but they were moving to the southeast, most likely. This village of grass answered. Apparently, he's the devil. If he knows about this, he can rip out the price. I didn't hear any further. I immediately ran at full speed in the direction of the southeast. Along the road I noticed red hair, which reminded me of the story where Dad found Mom with the help of hair. I moved in the direction of her hair until I saw them from Karen's face, an egg net on my head, a storm. I didn't understand where I was, and when I finally woke up, garbage. I heard this hater, that's how you got back at us for letting your mommy, stay. It's good for us that we had things to do when, so the whole team died. Your garbage trying to deceive. You can't. We'll distinguish everything until we reach the borders. I think we'll have time. There are still kilometers left. I shook myself. Of course, we'll consider this payment for the time wasted, I said. The first ones. I started shaking and crying. No one came to save me, although who needs such a thing is unlikely. No one needs you, girls. Suddenly I heard the sounds of falling explosions. I kidnapped whores. I heard a familiar voice. I felt warmth, so familiar to the chakras. She often chakra raged, and it was darker than ever. I felt a gigantic, terrifying hatred, but when the people in white, all the girls, turned back into Sveta, a calming lump. Everything is fine, Kurayanu, don't worry, they won't touch you anymore. He took me in his arm and began to quickly run through the trees. Why did I ask? Why did you save me? I started crying. Doesn't talk about himself. I don't know, a girl stronger than you were humiliated in the village. They didn't consider you human, they used you like batteries. It didn't break. You learned 2 techniques in 1 day. You cook wonderfully, you give me a rashing smile, and I adore your hair. I noticed red hairs in his hand. These were the hairs that I tore it out and threw it down so they could find me. Don't you dare finish talking about yourself. You are the only village that I completely trust, and I love you. Don't say that. And you, who I nailed, that he loves me. I came with him and said, I love you too. He forgave me. I said, and fate is an interesting thing. Naruto said. After it ended, East, meaning. Yes, I remembered the story of how my father, my mother, just like me, now. I don't understand him. I kidnapped him. Because she was great. They were about the same age then as we are now. She, like you, left it for them to find. Yeah, judging by that. I also smiled and came with him stronger. By the way, I forgot. After saying this, a bouquet of red Roses appeared in his hand, which I regretted. I wanted to invite you to a picnic on the mountain. He confessed, but something went wrong. After saying this, it was luck. It worked out. Nothing. Tomorrow, we'll definitely go. On a picnic. Definitely. After saying this, it was 0. He kissed me. Okay, we got there, go. Home. I'll go to the market in the third person, like me. Hello. It's possible. As if nothing happened, Naruto asked. Grandfather. Yes, nothing. I wanted to ask. You know, Karen, she helps the old man around the house. You're lying, let's give it to her. Okay, no need. You're lying so I don't worry. The old people escaped from the kidnappers, and now she's resting at my house. Sorry. On vacation. You must understand that you can't let you worry. There was an attack. Alice, we don't need it. I understand. I just dropped by. Report that for now. Here it is. __, he's still lying, nothing soon Rika might kick you and you'll be able to live normally, we'll caress you, the Hokage shouted after. The people left, like the commander of the rescue group, how will I know that I'll eat you? If you were there, like myself, we wanted to attack them, we saw Naruto, he rushed at one of the 4th Hokage's technicians, racing. He killed one of them, creating several clones, attacked the rest, he would have hesitated, I'm not sure, it looks like he used his father without a seal. It definitely didn't work for him without a seal. What are you saying? I don't trust him after the people. He killed the last check. It looks like he controls the power of the bija, he's free, and today he said 4,000. You're hiding on Ritem, he asked himself. Hirozen, after listening to the conversation about boyish hair, quickly left. Which means he was caught, he thought I shouldn't worry there, he doesn't have long left. She said, at the same time, he infected his subconscious, Korean man, as always, agrees. Except I said, and went to the house of my already Korean man. I spent all the last weeks before this stage with my beautiful Karen. I didn't move away, I only sent clones on 3 non-heroes, this technique was dedicated to improving my mastery, as it turned out, I move slowly because I lack sensory abilities in hermit mode, would be as fast as my father, but without the mode, it's slower. And this is a problem. I decided to breed sensory abilities with the help of the same clones, I also learned the technique of illusory cloning. Why? Imagine the enemy's surprise when he has such shadow clones, but some of them are illusory, when the enemy's hand passes through illusion, he hesitates for a second, which is enough for an accurate rating strike to us, or it will be possible to cut it in half. The burst wave technique also bought myself a cat on the Shagger. Conductive metal for the blade of the flying god technique with thunder using clones created 2 new techniques. The first is Shadow Rasen lightning essence. I just several clones moves. Kuna has a long shaking with Razengans the enemy. The second is also simple here already. The basis is taken by the Krennic flying rim thunder, just like with Razengans at the enemies they fly clone only. Now with the cat on it called Shadow Maple, all this will be useful for protecting the village from sand and sound. I will save many lives. We were not also chased as after the attack in the past future was not enough, and I did not have at least one whole day to rest so I can spend more time with my Coriano. By the way, he erased a little about mom's sleep is going on. It is ideal due to the fast. At least precise strikes I can easily take the enemy out of battles, and considering also that in the movements there is time for Jackus. Where does indoor hit with my palm? I can quickly put a mark on the enemy, a dick and tires, or other different seals that I managed to learn, for example, the paralysis seal, the chakra suppression seal, or the seal of the furnace of the elements. Here we are, jumping on. Akage, talking about how this is an exam, something like me, war, how stupid, instead of improving. Relations between countries, they bring me war twice a year, what if the heir of some treasure dies during the exam? A child at home who wanted to become a shinobi will suddenly die, yes, this is the basis for a new war. Just like then I decided to set us straight with Amin, so I had to piss him off a little and get him to talk. Give up, loser, you are predisposed to play with fate. I began to move rivers. Fate is decided by Salem, I will prove it to you by defeating you. This is who is worth respecting, so this is what, although he used his style mixed with unexpectedly appearing shadow illusory clones, but he was collapsing from almost all of my attacks. This is what a real genius means. You still have two more complex techniques, the main branches, he. Without the slightest explanation of actions, and even life. What prevents you from using pheasant normally? Since I've already touched on the topic of respect for others, I'll say that there will be another list. Several guys. First of all, everyone respects you. 100 Bravika with his sensei. These people manage to become Rovan and even overtake a regular shinobium. What's worth, they'll come in handy at the 8th gate session. It's a pity that I won't be able to see the actions of the 8th gate on video. The result of its use is so beaten. I haven't seen Madara yet. The third person I respect is Shikamaru. The guy is the only one with brains. Haydn and 3 whole teams couldn't shut him up. And I respect him for that. Yes, I know, I felt in the past world, I just didn't have time to get this girl. And in this one, I've already found my ideal. And I'm not eager to die 50 to 70 years after my wife and children, so I respect her for taking over more from me. We'll stuff ourselves and tirelessly trains each other to become better, just like I did back then. What did Roman call this? After which, having won, he headed to the stands to watch the fights. He once again proved that you can easily crush an inconvenient opponent. The rest of the fights weren't enough to reduce them. I didn't really watch, they were too boring, and so I waited for the attack on the leaf. No, don't think that I'm glad that many civilians will die. The biome has been decided. It's just that now the old monkey is fighting for his life, which isn't very good. He himself, to some extent, deserves respect, because at the cost of his life, Muram stopped the speeches and gave Konohi at least 3 peaceful years. Meanwhile, I defeated Shikakoi. Set his brain straight, the harem. It turns out, interestingly, I always set people's brains straight, while I myself had problems with my brains, having defeated how he laughed like crazy for a long time, but last time I gave him away he will still be a small genius. I got distracted, so I went to cut out the remains of the tire without a sound right on the discharge. I simply knocked out future allies. After all, I was moving at great speed while cutting out legs you completely knock out. I used clones, the technique of heavenly cry. I often used shadow cut while thunder burst wave. If after this at the Johnny Council they don't decide to make at least a chinin out of me, I'll kill myself against the wall. When it's all over, I teleported to my beloved Karen, who teleported the shelter in the Hokage Rock. He, with the help of Hirishin, I asked the hand to look after her. As soon as I teleported to the mark that I put on her yesterday, she immediately pounced on me with tears. It was unclear, was it all for the happiness that I returned unharmed, or because of strong excitement the fool shouted at us? You understand how worried I was. I have a sting in my heart, you tears, and if it weren't for you, Vera, I quickly moved with her to our house. Suddenly needs me with a kiss. I didn't want anyone to know our relationship, especially the elders. Don't need problems, don't you dare. Then mother said softly, I will never leave you, I will always take care of you, said I, and the family came to the girl to his place. Let's just cut and rest. You are emotional physically, but she no longer heard me, and it immediately became affected by the continuation, if it could be called that. And so the day came when our crazy Uchiha finally came from the village. This time I still did not give such a promise about returning Sasuke to the village, to which the pink one was offended, and who cares, it's good that the actions didn't change the key moments of history, yet, as sad as it may be, I must allow the war to happen. Otherwise the great shinobi countries will never unite. Besides, this is the only chance to reach the Black One for my father. If I don't allow it, it won't happen. I won't smoke him out, he'll still charge, somehow. But after my death, I certainly don't want to leave problems for my descendants. I'm even glad that he entrusts us with the mission to return the pacifier, because I will meet one of the Sound Five. How are you doing? Judging by the hair, it could be that she survived Janera. What is equal to this? Having an untrained body, one can say that she is a Uzumaki, but this is not certain. You need to cut out the scroll yourself, seal it, which you can then check with a guess. If I do everything that joined the clone, I will do. After all, there are very few Uzumaki left in the world. By the way, he spoke of one famous failure, the ocean leg, there, although his history is tragic. But I'm not going to conduct Naruto therapy, especially not allowing the Godfather to be killed and the channel to be destroyed. By the way, regarding the leg, you have to think of blaming the death of a human friend. Who? You could say, raised them, and judging by his forehead, it's because the teacher abandoned them. Well, firstly, the pervert didn't know we'd survive. And secondly, she shouldn't have been watching over you, teaching you, maybe we'll listen. Then the lever, I had to break up with you right there to save the world. First, he goes, then he gave away the suitable Sasuke from Kagaya. That's how we were left alone. I knocked him out and ran like that, like a sea. Even though he was our commander, he didn't refuse my advice to go help. Neigio didn't refuse. It's worth noting that he still received the chained one, but that didn't stop Shiki from becoming a squad leader. He caught up with Yakim. 10 minutes later, I see the seal fly off the barrel and get cut out. Who would I check? He sat on Kimmy's Mariam, but Thick Brow came and said he could handle it. I know the harem will help him. He ran off with his check. She's there like a gopher. Here we are, standing on the heads of previous reincarnations. Fate, what do you say? As for me, it was fate this time. To tear this arrogant and stupid chaser apart, but our fight cannot be prolonged by Suba himself, but I will still try not to accidentally kill him. Here I thought that this is a good village. Because there they already know what they are with whom, please, that he didn't want to kill, he punched. In short, because of this, Liz went out of control. But he almost didn't lie about his past life, everything was almost like this. Our technicians collided, here we had to catch racing so as not to kill him without his own hands. Everything ended the same as then. This time I'm conscious. I'm lying and hoping that he won't try to see, of course, he won't succeed. But let him think that he spared me in Konaham hospital room, tell me. How it all was, and why couldn't you stop him? She asked to drill into the demon. Daddy, let's turn on the acting skills. I didn't want to hurt him or kill him with my hands until the end because I was holding back. He managed to break through the game. Miracle option. What's better? Small things exploded. Grannies, then these wonderful modems that I didn't even know, but soon she calmed down and asked. He then asked why you are here. They died. After that, I lost control of the forest. Alice lost because she doesn't know how to use techniques. I couldn't be more than the chakra seal didn't allow it. Yes, you're just a genius. Thank you. I understand. Okay, if you remember what happened when it pours for control, then tell him to give it to her. He awakened the third floor of Schengen, but still couldn't win. Realizing this, he went to the second level of the cursed seal, like the four sound. Okay, I figured out everything you need. Have a good rest. Saying this, she probably went to the residence. With her mouth, something was heard from the side. Turning to us, I saw a barrier in the description. When he finished rotating, he continued to say, "Why are you?" He didn't defeat him. He looked at me suspiciously. It was like this: our house can't be changed. What will happen to him in the next 4 years? And what will happen? Let's list it. He will kill this. What about? And later, with the help of the resurrected Itachi, before the technique of this dance, enemies of the entire speech delivery of the sea will resurrect the previous academics who will help win the war. He is the reincarnation of the eldest son. I will give the river. By the way, I am the reincarnation of the younger one, and without his help, it will not be possible to defeat the main enemy. And what is the main enemy? The main enemy? I consider the black one behind the father, youth, a puppet, like with whom, a mother. Another son, like an artificial one. He wants to bring back life to the mother, otherwise he will take the whole world into a world of eternal illusions. Okay, I went, they said, in the southern part of the village, they opened combined companies for perverted times. It changes. No, I said into the void and removed the barrier more comfortably, went to bed, woke up and got dressed, jumped out the window. Because there was no point in locking me in a stuffy hospital room. Yesterday, Kara was not with me because I asked the medical staff not to tell her that I was in the hospital. He did. Many knew that I was found a relative. It seemed like I hadn't seen him for only 2 days, but it felt like an eternity. Although for me it was an eternity. He was given to me. Karina shouted. He jumped on me as soon as I entered the house that used to belong to my parents, so that they would still be wiped. But my weak elder. What contributed to this was that I defeated the whole rascal and it became us. I downloaded it like missions. I also missed it, and the missions were successful failures for us. How is that? You are much stronger than this city asshole. Tell me about the house. You won't hide it all your life. I told the chickens. From my subconscious, I intend to, but I didn't stop him. Why did she ask? Calm down, he said nervously. I'm waving my arms. Moments like these are more and more like my mother. I'll tell you something now. He only promises that you'll listen, I said after she promised. I began the story. I'll probably start with the fact that I'm from the future. Why did he shout at us? What's wrong with you? Are you joking, Karen? Listen, this is not a joke. I'm really from the future, and I'm 17 years old. I died at the hands of my best friend, as I read, because I didn't want to harm another. I gave in, then. It was clear to my eyes that our Rashana. Why did you tell me? Because I love you. I can't like you anymore. Tell me what I was like in the future. Stop, we were there together. Unfortunately, I didn't really know you in the past, that is, in the future. In short, you were a psychopath in love. What did she shout at me? She started to want to hit me with her fists. There wasn't enough curly hair for a full life. We'll live to see your end. Sorry, I expressed myself incorrectly, I said. Stepping back little by little. Explain yourself. She ordered me. You were manically in love with Sosuke because he saved you then. Vrizen. I don't know why this happened, but I suspect it's because of Moron's speech on the battlefield while you were treating me. She told me that when she returned from the hidden grass after the exam, you were kicked out there and said that if You heal allies who were injured in some battle, that is, they know you, they will accept you back. You will give you a lever and become his assistant. I don't know what kind of experiments. He conducted something on you. I saw something, but apparently, you are a little. In the morning. The future. Thank you. By the way, I remembered. It doesn't seem like I found another representative of our clan. However, I nodded. And who is there? And where is he here? He put it on the scroll that he just pulled out of the spatial pocket. After that he unrolled the scroll and unsealed it while she was unconscious. My tightly tied up. And I put a chakra suppression seal after which I wait for you. The tea that Karen prepared during the conversation. So where am I? I saw you. I didn't have time to finish speaking, as I slapped her. She doesn't dare hide my boyfriend. I understood, such a new one, that's good. I pointed at Karen, my girl. And I don't have a trained body, you could say that but we want you to join some kind of family, but still, freedom from speech, by the sea. I don't think this will be replaced. He tormented you with experiments, he doesn't do this to me. Meanwhile, I told us, saying, she turned her face away from me, opening the suitcase, and you can see Javairs. Then it dawned on me, Juin, influencing. To the mind it was because of this nipples in the end that I went crazy to the speech of the sea, although there are much more problems. Wait, now I came up and in the seal could not withstand such power and collapsed. And now what was that, she asked. I took it off for myself. Why couldn't you think to someone? What about my proposal? He and I agree, she told us. I felt with the help of her mouth that she was not lying. Welcome, okay. How does it look like going on a trip to train together? There we need to look for techniques, and there are plenty of Uzumaki without a leg. File on him, Uzumaki, he is excellent. When we leave in a week. Let me stand and get used to it. I still need to go to Grandma's. I need to announce that I am now giving a puppy store. By the way, we should also request the embassy. He sewed up this house. It is located right in the embassy quarter, so we have territory for the clan. I finished 2 months later. He came in. What is it like? I had it. Why didn't the motherland spare the clans? Although only ruins remain of this place. This place is simply stunningly tall stone buildings. Beautiful views of Sakona, few damaged buildings, a river running through the center of the village, a truly stunning place. We've been here for a month. I still can't enjoy the beauty of this place. It's a pity that I destroyed it. I can't even imagine how strong the people of this clan were. They were attacked by 2 great villages at once, along with some small ones from this village. It's a murky story, in general. He was in the conscience of the United States. He was on Konoha, according to books in the library of the same Konoha. In a week, the garden by the neck didn't have time to send at least 1 detachment to help. Give me. It's hard to believe that the barrier entered so easily. It will break when the same person couldn't break the barrier that my mother put up after giving birth, with an exhausted body after extracting Karama, while holding a whole 9-tailed. I can't even imagine what kind of barrier it was. It stood to the land. He jumps out of the conclusion, of course, a traitor to the Konoha side. After all, only the Hokage advisors, but there was still an opportunity to pass through the barriers. No matter how freaks the Canadian elders were, but the clan will have to object in, because if we try to do this step by step, they simply won't let us do it. They will attack. They won't give us missions to carry out. Then, although the strong have nothing like that for now, we need patronage from Konoha while the clan grows stronger. Then we can move in our souls. Many people reproached him during the war, but we take it for the fact that he created so many dangerous techniques and tactics that were used by empty Murakemura for not the best purposes. However, no one reproached him for entrusting the village to Hiroza. Nan knows that. Verba, he wouldn't have gone crazy in the village. Hidden whirlpools would have been alive, and Konoha wouldn't have ceased to be the strongest village of shinobi. Judging by the archives that I secretly accessed a week before the journey, my father was able to restore the economy and military strength of the village in just a year. And this is after the war. After the death of my father, he turned the village and the strongest back into the weakest. Okay, I got distracted, so during this time spent in the shower, we found many storerooms of techniques, hidden clan dungeons, sealing techniques of varying complexity, sealing efficiency. Techniques for releasing them, what can be caught wide open by anyone. By sealing the enemy and sending his technique back. Among all this, there was something else interesting. Flashback breaks on this. Look what I found. I spoke up. I'm standing there. During this time, we developed a relationship like brother and sister. What was it that I asked and, approaching her, I picked up the scroll. So, the blood enhancement technique is designed to erase the blood of half-breed clans. Before use, you need the blood of a purebred member. I finished reading the treasure. It's very interesting. He's Karen, give me some blood. And yes, I almost forgot. Will you be able to create the seal that was found yesterday? Now, after these words, he bit off the pad of his fingers and left some of his blood on Svetka, which I held. She smiled. I did it. He said that Rasanina, who just entered, you're back. Well, let's get started. The seal that I meant worked as follows. The seal should be installed on the forehead. But these are purebred Uzumaki. The rest of the numbers up to 10, respectively, show how much blood size we have compared to the rest of the clans. He or they are clans. He can restore clan blood. And what is stable if you maintain a connection with pure blood, otherwise they will all weaken. And weakening means that if I hadn't linked my life with Karina or with someone from the castle, my children would have been weaker than me and died quickly. They would have grown up earlier. Kur Roman explained this to me. But now I have found confirmation of his words. What's most surprising is that it turns out that I am a purebred for the Maquis. The seal, as in the case with Karen, showed me the number 0. The same seal according to the testimony. What does it mean that my mother was pure blood? I was very happy about this. After all, I felt like some kind of defect. Now I can acquire a special feature of the clan's appearance, scarlet hair. After strengthening the blood, my hair only turned red and my eyes became bluer. He prayed, too, it should have changed, but this did not happen. Probably because I had facial features from my mother, since this seal does not just give red hair, but strengthens the Jina 4. Makiem. My chakra levels have increased for both of them. And my endurance has increased. I also have a predisposition. Katana in change. There are of course also downsides to chakra control. I was now at an insignificant level due to the increased amount. The next 2 days while the girls of Jera studied the found knowledge, I learned to control the screen. This time, surprisingly, I managed to easily get control. 2 days after starting training, I could climb a waterfall. We used chakras. We decided to stay and learn all the techniques we find, because we need to restore part of the clan. And without the seal masters, this is impossible after 2 months. All this time, we studied the library of clans with this knowledge. It is not surprising that they were destroyed for this. A day ago, I found tablets like the Czech one, on which is written the method of awakening someone Tenge. And here it is written that before his awakening, you need to stop the fugitive gone waiting until the chakras are synchronized with the eye, and he told me wildly. I am a reincarnation. What does it mean that this chakra flows in me, although I have less than the same as you? But here nothing is said about the number of points. Theoretically, I can use the eyes in conjunction with the sea, after all. In this mode, our chakras are united by itself, but there was one big problem. Where can I get these eyes? I won't allow myself to take the eyes from the same Heian Terracanabian. Yes, I didn't even take the ears, although there are also some before the transfer, but I'm not a monster. This made me sad. I started looking hard for some dungeons for a way to find a way to remove life from a representative. I feel sorry for them, because there aren't enough bastards among them who are eager to kill the main branch simply because they must subjugate themselves. Yes, in any clan, everything is subordinate to the head. What was it that was necessary to do that the younger branches didn't trust and attached a seal to the forehead? I searched for 5 days with the help of thousands of clones, and here's success, although this is not what I was looking for, but solve the hassle. I found a couple of used yakuhans next to the flask in which the miracle head was located, with whom it was written that these were the eyes of the then head of the clan. They gouged out these idiots for the fact that he ordered his dogs to steal girls and make them concubines. I'm proud of it. This is my clan, that's how it should be. You're an arrogant idiot. Ask him if you also wanted to take the eyes from the Czechs. I'll tell you that I did it. They'll ask, then why do I need you? Well, it turns out that if a person awakens, the king's foot is on this shogun, then with proper preparation, you can still use properties other than vision. Of course, now I understand how the moderator was created, the most got out, and Harry's sealing technique, while he didn't have any eyes. It turns out that after I got cheeky and took the eyes, he became a force on par with someone who might even be stronger after 3 months. 4 months I walked around with a blindfold on, but when I took it off, I looked at the mirror and almost slipped and fell from surprise. I still had blue eyes. I directed chakra into them. You, Segan of Crimea, said that it could be because I am behind my ocean, because it remains stronger than the other clans. The eyes can become more tense and turn off in this dream. I believed him. He's been around for more than 1,000 years. Suddenly, he had already seen something similar. Theoretically, when I received Shiner, a leg for one teacher, I won't tell you how you can activate it and show everyone my wonderful blue eyes. Why did it turn blue? Because these jerks turn out to be from the same blood with whom he has a relationship. Thus, the eyes will take root perfectly and become blue like my own. Yes, you know me, I can't Naruto Zamakam without adventures on the butt. So, one day I decided to take a walk around our camp and came across a group of Nokonin. Even without eyes, I couldn't fight. Though. Frankly, it's crap. There were about 6 of them with difficulty, but I dealt with 4 opponents, but I didn't have enough body for the last 2. I'm still not asking for the key to the cage, speaking to the wise, and I couldn't help. I would have died if I hadn't been saved by Tai Yam. It turns out I was going to an exhibition to hunt hares. I didn't hear the sounds of battle. I rushed off. Yes, she secretly killed the enemy who was at the level he fixed for us, but with the last one, but Kane, the Jounin level, I had to deal with it myself without the cursed seal of her power, at the level of a strong one, not for us, of course, she was weaker for us, and I drove a little. So I couldn't fight at full strength. He, with the help of his miracle flute, was running across the fields after 10 minutes, not using the technique. This is a dream. I still managed to kill the last enemy, and she disappeared unconscious from exhaustion. It should be noted that after this incident, I still asked for the key to Zara, and he opened the cage. Kuraman. After receiving this power, I thought, won't it seduce me? This is power, but my personal psychiatrist named Kuraman immediately sent me a message. He said that if I want to use power to protect loved ones, then this is impossible. I completely agree with him. Especially since I started to feel not quite brotherly feelings for Tayu after this mess. It turns out she is a very kind girl and doesn't like to swear at all. Again, how can you break people's psyche? They are already dancing. Only in his case, people become inadequate. All the names, it would be nice to somehow inquire what the wards themselves do and do. I give them wonderful cooks. They have very beautiful long hair. Yes, I still made her take off her stupid hat. I definitely like her, but I don't know how she reacts to this. Father, I'm giving it to him. It's so good that I managed to save him then. He did so much for me and I couldn't repay my beloved for it. After he saved me from laparotomy, I can't stop thinking about him. It's a pity that I have to be busy. I could at least establish a relationship with him like my sister and brother already. What's going on? These thoughts make me feel like I'm in a pumpkin Karima. Hello, friends. She shouted out while being 5 meters away from me. Hello, Karen, he even greeted me. I'll touch. Can we talk about it? People, from these words. Remembering my thoughts, she blushed, of course. Maybe this will sound strange, but I'm not sure about you. I started talking to us. I want to ask how you look at the bunk there, like a brother or the guys. I asked a very unexpected question, which made my face become like the color of my hair. Of course, like a brother. What kind of question are you asking? My voice was quite confident, it reflected. And she even apparently noticed it and just smiled. Come on, Carries. Even though it was an order, the voice sounded kind. She hesitated. I'm like a guy. I'm not laying claim to him. I met him. I had already had a relationship with you. When I appeared, I didn't finish, she put her hand on my shoulder. On the contrary, I wanted to offer you to be. I understand that there are most likely no men left for Makia. And if there were any, it would be old people or even more lines. I understand that no one wants to outlive their children. Therefore, it's interesting. Such deaths ended for us. I was, to put it mildly, Sharashina, taking myself in hand, I'll rush to hug her. Thank you, I thanked her. It was the happiest day of my life so far. There's nothing for which I need to tell him about it somehow. Okay, Vajya, for us, on behalf of Naruto, it's time to return to the home channel. Time outside of Konoha. What's wonderful? I've mastered. Although it will be ignored here that I haven't mastered it seriously. I've learned a bunch of techniques of all 5 natural transformations. You always actually give a bunch of goodies, a list of which goes a solution with all these elements. I also discovered something about the Shigadami and the abilities of the strongest body. Of course, once I've hooked you, I won't be able to put a powerful invisible barrier. Since Nagano has this ability more powerful. I'm doing it. Use it once every 5 minutes, but that's something. And the most important thing is not a huge number of years from this, almost destroyed the moon. Because you can't go where there was in the war. By the way, the moons have these miracle eyes, it turns out. That if I go crazy on Earth, the cons. Okay, is it enough? Let's jump, I finally have my hermit mode. By the way, the guys and I decided to make the toads the main summoning Uzumaki. Therefore, the girls also learned this mode, and finally, let's talk a little raising gain. Moreover, several new techniques in total, using. The first was what I called raising art, a strange name. Yes, I gave it such a name in honor of one true connoisseur of art. When hitting a target, I destabilize and at the same time direct destructive forces with an explosion in the direction of such a direction using control of the shape of the house. It is not worth saying what happens to the enemy when hit. I also came up with the technique of planetary raisingen. In fact, I did not have the goal of creating it. Ivan wanted to use this technique to pull the control of the shape with a checker in order to pour Russia onto the elements of fire, while creating it. With one hand, this technique is not particularly original. I just give a few more raisingen around the base for you. What enhances the destroyer's power? The next technique is that very element of fire. I called it Inferno. The difference between the river and the habit of giving long names to techniques was not passed on from my father. This difference between the river and the usual one is not particularly different from the usual one. It is intended for special opponents, for example, those who use it to fasten leather. It melts all types of armor. Small blades of wind penetrate the body, destroying the channel. I also created one fire technique. It looks like a skull, and when hit, it destroys internal organs, leaving a drawing on the victim's stomach. The skulls called it Kato on the skull of the sorcerers, and it's not worth talking about my own. Not only I learned everything I could find, even managed to awaken the chains. They turned out to be red for me. Probably this is a feature of the chain of a man. By the way, Afin, for all this time studying the warriors of the clan's history, I realized in one thing: the 7 swords of fog are seeds of a whirlpool. Svetka with the history of the clan says that 6 of these balls were created by the head of the clan 300 years ago. The properties of these swords are the property of the seals that are on them. For example, the same Mishiba, who is this just a sword with a spatial pocket for exploding seals, as well as with the rest of the drink themselves. The grandson of this head even created it. He masterfully sealed the ball, which was imbued with the chakra of action. The tail, I acquired my properties. Why masterfully? Because it will seal the creature so that it does not lose its properties and at the same time carries out the orders of the owner. It is very difficult. Here a new question arises: why no one else created such swords? And the answer is simple: this same head of the clan, he did not have time to pass on his knowledge to clans, and regarding the Shibka, there was simply no point in creating it. People didn't know how to use this sword well. I used body seals more for exploding tags. You ask, how do you know that Inferno is different? Rikin sings with armor. And Kotan skull and the moon leave such a trace. And I will answer you that for the last year and a half, my team and I have started the hunt on Nognanov, because there is never enough money, and we don't touch Kotsky because you can't disrupt the course of history. By the way, they wanted this nickname Red Skull several times because I often use this technique combining it with my style. I killed these people immediately like no effect. I'm unpredictable anywhere no one else would like to say a few more words about my style. Then there's a dream. It's just awful. It's weak if you look at it from the point of view of the usual traditional, but using in combination shadow clones, Resengan in seals and elemental techniques of striking with Super's chakra on internal organs. This is the strongest style, and since in a real fight no one will fight fairly, it has no equal. It's also worth noting that my feelings for you, I think I turned out to be mutual. Can you imagine how shocked I was when they offered me to be with both of them at the same time? It was Great news for me how to lay out the topic and not pester me a lot, but I haven't decided to do this with them yet. I'm already 21 years old and I wouldn't really feel it. We said that we would do this when they turn 16, so not they'll wait another month and a half. Their age difference was only a month. So I think it can wait a little longer, and I have no problems. I just realized that I'm already 21, nothing in a month and a half. Yes, synchronously, the satellites are the same, and for Manta, this is him, said Kadiatsun. I understood what the sauce Minortaku is for us. Hello, and the scooter, father, lined up, hermit. Hello, the flight is probably like this. We recorded him. He says about whom, what's with the hair? There, your hair turned red. He said, nothing's wrong with you, Gina, the locks took over. He lied, pestered the compartment, but it's clear. They recorded him for us, so you can. He smiled and said, excellent, then we need to get closer. I dragged him towards the residence. On the way, we met a sapper with the Konohamaran team. This is my brother. After these words, smoke appeared from it. It seemed like a luxurious brunette. So that I wouldn't immediately pay attention. He read his own words. He was lively, and you changed. He even became taller than me. He said that he remained more or less normal. Sakran, to us. And you hardly changed. After that, they hit me on the head. But this time, I let her hit you. Since, from the girl's point of view he was guilty, and from my point of view, but what can I say above, it became and it's all okay, we LL go, fire, she answered and went with the team. When Hamara was on his business, they climbed into the office of Hakujin. They didn't knock, as they heard a scream in the hospital. They need to bring it quickly. Before he could finish speaking, as the sound of the bell striking Zivan is dedicated, this voice even the windows shook. After that, we wanted to knock, but the door opened and from there an enemy for life. Travels came and returned, then guys. Again this question. After another hair stories we continued the conversation. But basically, old man Karen is stronger, this is me. They learned a lot of those elements and also the hermit mode, but control is lame. The old man lied, but naturally. We don't need it yet. It hurts himself. She retained asked. She already answered the question. I understand, on the field, the ball with the income of many to stacks and I had nowhere to develop. I only gained all the experience and, just like Karen, this is a very hermit mode of toads, but I received from them, he said, I drowned. Understood, then tomorrow at 8 a.m. be in my office, we will test your strength in a test fight. The sacrum will go with you and you will fight against Kakash. And now get out of my office. My Sakin is waiting for me. So, because of what, Rinatem? Yes, the elder's brain is dripping. Cook. I said, he shouted, she. We were guided from the office. Nothing. Soon. They will die, passed out during the war, obeyed. Soon we, from the subconscious. Do not like sudden jokes to you, I said, barely. I'm holding back so as not to laugh. Christians. Me too, but this is not a joke, laughing, the subconscious said Roman. In this we headed to our quarter there, parents without fat and of course, since he ran to follow Salam, age 6, the moment of the girls we went into the mansion. You see your dust all over the house, got down to business. Finished, lay down on one bed in the largest room of the mansion and hugged with zero. Were the first word that comes to mind after the one whose dream woke up sleep. I hate to catch but my soul okay, what can I say, it's time to fight in my own yes. Today is the very day when I will finally be able to carry out the strongest get dressed called the Millennium. Option Kakashi, of course, could not use this technique in this world, but we must punish him for constantly being late. That's what I thought the pack I go into the bathroom. Doing all the procedures from cleaning teeth genitourinary. There is nothing I can do. I can't. Be sure that Karen you won't attack me. Just checking the filming here again. 25 We are all standing waiting for this cycle palm. I wonder if he will kill him before or after checking. You'll put more in. It looks like it's just a load. I understand after Vigrico, they started from ours. Aka Jisoko opened up. I was still standing in front of Hitaki. He already understands that. Now the main goal is to take apart the bells, not teamwork. Of course not, in order to beat you up. I said, after which we were embarrassed. Traditionally, I wasn't used wonderfully in all the sense here, so as not to give away any trump cards yet. Although I used the standard style from the Pump Academy, I came to use Shingon for hours. There was danger on the right. I jumped for a reason. Sakura impressed with her fist the earth with such force that the earth simply exploded. She is still a good girl. Although it is not clear why I do not learn a couple of elemental techniques. After all, every person has at least one element. After the porridge turns away from all and useless attacks, I attacked him with elemental techniques. We attacked each other in every possible way with the elements. Then I defended myself with a water wall with my skull, then using a cutting one that would repel lightning itself, and so on. He understood that it was trivial for him. He would not have enough checks to compete with me in stereo and attacked in that face. It was time to show what the unpredictability of the body of the most unpredictable ninja is worth for my attacks with the help of clones. Not even a Shengen method, but each of the limits, and now I will have to go to the table. When he ran out of chakra from long-term use of Shingon, I put a seal on him for paralysis. I did not conduct the strongest technical school. His butt will hurt for a long time. While he flew away, I pulled bells to myself with the help of Banchatanian and kill one sacrum. You yourself said, why? This is to hold your ass, sensei. Here are yours, but unpredictable with mine. He said straight from the subconscious. I completely agree with him. No, you're mistaken. I'm the most unpredictable. Well done. You lack combat experience. So it's time to fulfill the mission. I lack it. It's a pity she doesn't know what kind of war I was in, Sakram. You also showed yourself. Well, you need to delay, but only to such a level of fighting. Johnny, they called us. You won't get it for the same reason that I'm Naruto. Well, to Bakon, a bottle flew to me with an account. How many times have I told you? Don't call me that, she shouted at us. I was standing there, not understanding. Where did the bottle come from? He just told you that I wasn't good. The price until now, even I, who survived such a war, can't help but tremble. Madam, she's so scary that I don't even want to think about calling you grandma, and do you hear? My father? She herself requests, yes. I would like to ask you to choose the crest of my clan. Fat Tufshino, we're beating her. Since I'm starting the restoration of the Konoha clans. It would be strange if the crest of your clan everyone wears it. Agree. Moreover, it was a sign of friendship between the main characters, Senjios and Makam. And since Essenja remained only in N, I didn't become fair for tomorrow. I won't act anymore. Change it yourself. We found vests. Don't think about it. She asked those present, namely me, Sakura, Kakashi, Jason, of course, my girls. You can just nod. Excellent. Everyone is free. After checking, we went to Meet friends to celebrate our return to home. A week later, the whole village wore a new, dark green, strong uniform with a leaf sign on the back. Again in the morning, again, the hated rays. I got up at the sun and went to get dressed. I decided to change for that reason, I trudged to the store. Along with my usual pants and sandals, I wore a black uniform jacket with an orange zipper and buttons on the sleeves, which can sometimes be buttoned. I also had a herpes sore on my left arm just below the shoulder on the bandage. Having changed my swab, I ran to the residence because I was late today. I was supposed to receive my official assignment for 2.5 years, as I remember, it was supposed to be a sarong mission, but I already understood that I would be sent to help the Corium, although it had become one of my best friends. However sad it was. I must let him die again. Of course, resurrect him. I would have myself. The very fact that they are a friend's way hurts the heart. And death will not be very pleasant, after all, it was the truth in Shinobi. That she is ready to sacrifice her life for her hookah. Having received the mission, we immediately rushed to the Siren of the Sand. He met Tamara along the way and began run together after questioning, answer the hare, like last time, Sakura cured Kanuka of this poison, no matter how annoying Nina was, but how good I am and the competition will make up just need your summoning dog in these locations. With the help of the smell of fabric that reached the edges during the battle, worthy. He actually sacrificed his life for this piece of fabric about him, thinking about the test. Remembered the perverted hermit of my time. His victim situation is similar. Only to the Congress of Resleeping. I believe that the Congress is worth the same wonderful shinobi as we are godparents, no matter what. But we were approaching the cave. Now, looking at the seal, I don't want to cry. It was made, to put it mildly, through the ass. He, to put it mildly, took out a scroll and drew something incomprehensible to the others, applied it to the seal on the rock. He ran. With this Dara, the rest remained in this rock cave. This time, I think they will cope faster. What is one hasting worth, which will destroy all this cave? My chase. You are all quite long. Faster, even a Hiroshichenko, but something else. I can't throw an advance. And it also throws places with its low-power firecrackers. Soon I got tired of it and turned on what I called it 1,000 dressers. I didn't have access to the 6-way sandies yet, so I had to use this mode for flight. Of course, such a powerful person won't feel it unless Squirrel and to arrange an interrogation, but somehow I'll get out of flying with him. I said several steel gloves, then get a rushing at true art, he shouted, I finished them off, killed this suicide bomber, all art of enormous size. He liked my art so much that overjoyed he flew around the area together even before the clay bird that. An incredibly powerful man. What was it? He immediately asked the people a question on his own. As soon as we saw each other, by the way, they dealt with it pretty quickly. He used some kind of miracle bomb before his death. Look at the result. He said, I showed it to the enemies, supposedly from the technique. But in fact, it was a funnel of my technique. I understand, he said, Sensei, but this is wonderful. Let's take a rest. We'll fight off the flying clay in which some beast throws bombs at you. It's not very fun. We'll have a good rest. Sonia, a day, and then we'll return to the village. He gave the order. Part-time captain. A book lover. We returned with the moon, we'll get a good night's sleep. I even managed to chat from the mountain before returning to the personnel. I even missed his tired face with circles under his eyes. Returning to Konoha, we headed to Bakon, so we could know something about the missions. Well. Report something. She apparently said, slightly drunk, Akaka, I'll be brief, having reached the village, I'll hide it. I quickly studied. The poison from the Cossack brother. He gave me a piece of cloth by which I was able to track the Akatskim. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, she herself was dead. A battle had broken out between us. He went after the demolition man. The quarrel was about the red sands. He gave information. It's clear in detail. You'll leave it in writing tomorrow, he said, and now you can rest freely. We obediently retreated through the office. I immediately ran to the estate. He went to his girls. After all, I hadn't seen them for 10 days. They prepared a wonderful breakfast for me. And after eating, they started pestering me. I barely brushed them off. I went to bed. These two beautiful girls lay down next to me without hugging. The option changed. I remembered what my past life was like. I smiled happily and hugged them too, snoring sweetly. We take out the day of the mission, where we meet the Saskians. I used to joke about Captain Yamato becoming our permanent captain. Now I'll seriously think about asking Grandma about it. He'll feed me, train me, and build a house for me. Comfort there, not in the hot springs, it'll just be a pleasure. I would be happy to. I wouldn't really want to ask to change the course of history. He's me, and I'm also on thin ice because I showed my strength 2.5 years ago during the attack, he sighed. But what can I say about him? I didn't really like this guy at first, and I still don't, considering that I'm in the past now. But seriously, in the future, this guy will become a good friend, ready to cover any moment, by the way, at Isaiah's Hot Springs. Today, we went to Sai's Hot Springs for the first time, we're his captain there. Although he's much stronger than the latter. He still scares me. I was so scared that I got up from the water. I missed the opportunity. My device is someone else's. I'm wondering if it's worth trying. Hammer into his head that. On the bridge I had to ask Kurama to take control and throw out 4 tails so that this site would go shorter frost with the task. This in turn will lead to the fact that we will meet with whom, of course it's a pity that soon it will turn out with a tail on the shoulder. What will not you do for the sake of peace? This saying of course sounds strange, considering that I am going to allow the 4th world, but then there will be a long peace of 150 years at least, or however long it is about the living here. Ivan is almost the last of the kind from the stock, that is. And the Czechs are standing with such an arrogant look now. Looking at him I find it funny, but at the same time it's offensive because then I was too weak for him. I increasingly think about the body of the fact that if I were not from the future and did not have such colossal experience I lost, therefore I am much smarter than I was, but until now I have to send you brains. Suddenly the ceiling. Now what's wrong with my brains? You just underestimate your strength, kid. Only use hermit mode. You are already becoming a step above him in the series, considering that you can enter this mode several times in a row. And instantly using clones for this, you are already much stronger than him. I'm not talking about the fact that then I interfered with you in every possible way with control and check and for mom. Do you remember during your first serious battle in the Valley of the End, you created the last Resengan in 1 second with one hand? Even considering that I interfered with you. You are such a stubborn option that you even managed to improve the technique using the same clones, and this in 2 weeks. I didn't have a single large-scale technique against him. Why do you think that if the enemy uses huge techniques, then you also need to use them? You moron, you beat even me with your difference. The river is not a barricade of Yesengans for us. Even though it was half my strength, this does not cancel the fact that my skin is almost as strong as the penultimate article. Sanam Place. You use Negusis on the barricades. From the huge difference. The river is for us from him. A date will become yourself without my wind. You can't break through. What from the scene that he created using the chakra of all the tailed ones. Forgive me Karaman, I just had this feeling that without you I'm weak, I can't live without you, I used your power all the time during the war, I understand nothing, okay, I want to sleep, yeah, screw it, it was by accident and in another life, yeah you're right, but still it happened again. He said laughing. I lost all mood to argue with him anymore, so I returned to the real world in which for what at most 2 seconds Sasuke towered over us. So techniques. Click, create a bunch of clones, they are noticeable with fish, mate, so take it with the others to a safe place. What's the problem? A hint came from the subconscious. I did just that. Sasuke was left alone. He looked sleepy. The blades of this sword began to be made in such a way that it perfectly absorbs and conducts electricity. What are you going to answer? Uchiha asked me with an indifferent face. Why, in essence, did I take out a completely black sword from the native seal, made by me in advance, from where there are thousands of me, to someone I could control the shape of only 2 balls, which was enough for only one beautiful sword. Well, design is also important. I will not tell you the properties of my sword. I do what I do, that is, give the enemy information about myself. He finished his speech. She held the sword in blood, repaired and sharpened it. This is the limit. I did not want to use the feature, it turns into what concerns. I wanted to have fun, and now the nipples were not worried, because this is an almost exact copy of the Great Kusanogen, seeing the blue glow on the ball with all the expanded air check. Why do you need this? The high-chambered asshole won't help. But he's right. His sword is strong, without using special abilities. Where am I going to be able to break it? We stole nipples in Kenya with its Solemn, which he dominated with his Sharingan. It's a shame. I can't show it to my eyes. He'll go crazy. If he finds out I'm ahead of him not only in chakra and body strength, but also that my father is stronger than him. We have his advantage, and it was neutralized with sleep. The clones who carried my team to the safe place managed to gather enough natural energy, realizing that they had an advantage. Now he started folding seals for the technique. Isn't he oriented or has a chance to escape from the ocean? Why is Saiton doing vertical things while giving out technique? I used the technique with which Kakashi sent him to the zone. Only with form control did a defenseless technical school website emerge. He's without a water source. He either praised me or approved of it himself. You can't understand the emotions of these students. Our duel continued until the speeches of the sea came. As if he was glad they came. He'll give up in 3 Sharingan. And Cheddar Nipples wouldn't have gone out. This battle is pointless if you kill him, these tails are free. So we need to go out. He said a speech, we yell, of course he will kill, hope next time you won't survive. My friend made a pointless threat, and now, along with the sailor's speech, there would be an impressive sound, more paper. I'm telling you. The show-off after the battle headed to the cave, leaving his friends behind. They had to be looked after for hours, finally. I took on this action in the morning. I didn't get rid of the topic of me staying to stand and explain it to me. We had to an hour after waking up. We ran back to the village. He's VTV. And what about 7? Our granny demanded hockey. We need everything ourselves. We're very tired. Can we provide that tomorrow is in writing? We're leading it, but I asked them a question. It's no problem. You can rest. She said. Son, you can. Who's going where? I, of course, trudged home. All the beauties had only a Toyota at home. Like Karen, she was also in the hospital. Progress, by the way, is going very quickly. She can already treat fractures and all that, although he's only been studying for a month. What can I say? The dacha right after the mission. No matter what kind of monster I was, it still became so I quickly went to the bathroom, washed up, and headed to the bedroom. To rot. 2 months have passed since the failed mission to return Sasuke, no matter how much he didn't want to, but it's impossible to save the Ozmistvo thanks to his deaths. If, of course, again thanks to whom they were in the war, their change, of course, contributed to the death of their parents. Otherwise, Kamara, but we haven't gotten to that yet. Over time, I spend more and more time at home thinking about what to do, what to change, but I always come to the same conclusion. Nothing can be changed until the moment our pacifier of death, otherwise we will not receive the power of the 6 paths. It is impossible to win. Although I currently have powers higher than in my past life, however much he did not want to admit it. But without the pacifier of modernity, it is impossible to win. Why matter? Because I am not doing this to allow liberation, no matter how he would. Besides, if it does not come to that, I will need someone to inhabit. Yes, I know that. He stood there even after being removed by a blow with poop. He did not stop fulfilling his plans. He stopped being wrapped up. When modernity said that all this time she was killed, he was just a puppet. A person who changes his mind so quickly, who can manipulate and control the world with fortitude, is not needed. So we need to do it somehow. How can I find a model to seal? By the way, during this time, he and the girls dragged me into bed, and more than once this island for the first time did not let me go of the guy for 8 hours. During this time, I began to hate endurance, the ocean season. But seriously, he feels that I have not yet experienced them. They are perfect, no matter what, but no one knew about our relationship. Everyone thought that we were just sisters for each other. They were playing one of them after another stormy at night. The rest of the issue called me like a Cayenne. They didn't give me a mission to capture and these cars there. They really think that a bunch of chin-ins can capture a person. Who went, the information alone destroyed it. I can even compete with the river if I fight seriously. But by the way, here's what they're talking about. If you look at it from the village's point of view, the hero Kanakin, after all, left a coup of such a strong clan. And if you look at it from the point of view of I'm a man who never had a family, I want to kill this one. What kind of person do you have to be to kill a family that just wants a fair relationship with him for the sake of the village, who put the clan next to and even blow the smell on them with a fan? And this one with whom? How can you believe that? One person destroyed the entire clan? There is such a thing as chakra depletion. Yes, this genius would have dried up after the first 50 members resisting the clans from his clan, meager chakra reserves that are only enough for a battle for 30 minutes with the positioner activated. Considering that this was 13 at the time of the nipple, he himself should have realized that destroying the clan alone is unrealistic, because his own 13 nipples can use reading more than 2 Rasengan. It spends much more. Okay, even though I'm pissed off about this, I must admit that this is to my advantage. The fewer of these crazy idiots there are, the better. But still, this mission had a couple of advantages. Firstly, -1 and the sneezer, who gave me free rein before the battle. We are on the highway with his eye. What can I say? Pretending to be in love, and the case is there from the moment it all dawned. And secondly, I finally talked to Hinata about her falling in love with me. I explained to her as gently as possible that we couldn't be together, which there were several reasons. Firstly, I need to restore the clans. Secondly, I already have girlfriends H2M, which I asked her not to tell anyone about, and thirdly, I especially don't care about the blood of Uzumaki. You'll explain. I don't want to worry about my wife, children, there can't even be grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Although she was quite depressed and had those crosses, she accepted this. After 30 minutes, she became ordinary Hinata after this mission. He quietly created a shadow clone and sent him in his place to Konoha. The main one, at all speeds, headed from the direction of the rain, otherwise, the Godfather. I know he's as stubborn as I am, so I'll never miss the chance to deal with my old student myself. I ran through this country, I heard an explosion and immediately headed towards the ground with black pins. I rushed towards him, used a reverse call, a balcony appeared on me, it wasn't painful to look at the numbers, another chair, you can tell him life, no one is there, I'm in my head. With the help of Taishirgana's chakra mode, I was able to pull off the same trick as with the poop when I restored his eye. I restored my godfather's vocal cords with my hand. Yes, various holes in the body are also extra holes. Why am I already crying? I asked him how. As soon as I woke up, forgive me, I wanted to deal with the student myself. I thought that I now knew the ability of those who were able to stop him, but what happened. You're an idiot, I shouted. I threw myself into his arms with a new portion, you don't understand, I can't survive your death a second time in this life, you're like a father to me. No need, fall back on yourself. Forgive me, but that's how it is. I haven't broken the time that was you for now. I'll live there as a bull in hermit mode, and then he himself is very tasty, you'll always find something just in any situation, too, smiling, wiping. I began to say, as if I were his pupil, and then I made eye contact with pain. I remember that now he has no people nearby except Conan. So, Khan is waiting for him, having moved to the same place from where he left. I felt afterward from the side and was right. He quickly jumped back, noticed a rocket that hit the water, exploding, causing almost a tsunami. Hello, leg. There, let's make peace with his eyes. I asked, turning on thousands of thunderstorms. I wasn't worried yet that I could pour out in front of my father or in front of the rest of the world. With the rest of the world, everything is clear, strange, even closed, no one will come out or enter here, even if someone sees. I'll leave here, no one will believe him. He won't be able to adequately explain what kind of power this is. I have to help myself there now, give masks and nipples. I'm still surprised how easy it is to control my eyes. It's the chakras, it looks like. Chakra in my eyes, dumbfounded, he said, the body of the path to you, yes, you're right, it looks like such eyes. And unlike you, these eyes, I will arrive myself, so you're off the hook. Having said this, I rushed at full speed onto the path to the rake. In 3 seconds, finding myself behind him, I hit him with an explosive Rosinga. Igor. R.A. Shingon, with the art of what does it mean, unlike the answer, suddenly decided to ask a question. About time, about fights. I decided that it's not worth wasting time on stupid talk about a past life, namely, I prepared the same Razagana hemorrhoids in invisibility, absorbed techniques are not needed instantly, that even their combined vision did not notice, moved, and the debt of Shingon through and through, then tearing techniques into him also destroyed the path of a person. He saw what is this, he menacingly shouted, after which he continued, I am the god of this pathetic person, you cannot defeat me. In a past life. And this it's not the person who says these eyes don't belong to. These are the eyes of Uchiha Madara. Kritienu, dissenters, with this end. Without explaining anything, I immediately headed towards the path of the beast, which had already managed to summon dogs and Bakam, fortunately for me and unfortunately for Nagita. If I destroy the body, I summon it. It disappears, hitting the fists with all my strength on the next body. I saved myself from unnecessary hemorrhoids. Further along the path was Pyutya. Shirem, as I called him, a robot, instantly creating a bunch of clones. I began to pour various elemental techniques. Worked with Shinyak in the hope of having time to create protection for this body. I, however, am going to surprise Shindra Tunsei, I also shouted. Let's use a little technique on the enemy, as a result of which a person from hitting several elemental zones, since these were my eyes. I used a large number of people, and here the movie is very far away and almost killed standing power. Can be. Where did you get such strength? Asked the barely alive body leaving the rock. That was imprinted, saying. This is I also instantly moved after taking the haircut cream and in one myself. And with pain on the effective one, I will feel the chakra in the tallest building of the village. Rains, since it was necessary to leave the safety of Nagata's eyes for habitation, I decided not to blow up the barricade of the Shingans anymore and had to do everything manually. Then in the tower, without words and hesitation, I unsealed my sword from the years and turned it into a procon, and then, creating an ordinary, fairly strong blue ball in his hand, he printed it into the body of our disabled person. Checking if he was alive and making sure that he was not. I moved to my side, there we talked with the elders, my Amishur, and also advised the Toad Sage. Agreeing to play the Plate Sonata, announcing the death of Jiraiya. This is the word that was more appropriate for the time before the war, before my death. Seriously, there weren't that many performances in Konoha in a year. At first, I had to pretend in front of you. It's more valuable. Yes, when I found out about the heat of death, then she was so depressed that I wanted to confess to everything, but it's impossible. Promise that when the war ends, you'll see him and live a happy life. Then there was a performance called, Kind Fluffy Checks. Yes, you can't imagine how disgusting it was for me to talk to the man who killed all my relatives and even made my beloved brother suffer. I didn't really want to finish saying that Sasuke was my brother, even from the point of view of a super grandfather. Sage. This is by the way. This bastard managed to find a suitcase to fix the Shinganam. The woman on whom I was putting repetitions took the same ability as Karainu, so he decided to slap me because he was worried about his life. Several times thanks to this woman. Nipples came out. A fighter deputy, whom I took with me to the 5 Kgi Council on Nato Street, at my request, came out. That's why he went out. We fight against each other. What will allow history to remain unchanged? That time itself wants to help me. So, the next performance was that. Several times I accidentally didn't have time to remove the devices during the process with the girls, which is why they got pregnant and no one let them go to war. Especially then. The war goes on. Naruto, whom everyone is used to seeing, was not wildly ashamed in front of my father for the fact that I pretended to be such an idiot. Now that there were more people, I was able to save almost everyone who died then. Happiness among them, there was nothing left, and the parents of my friends I saved them with the help of Hiration, like many others. A good technique using eyes. There was no point after all. I knew that no one else would die, and now it's time to talk about the war. Immediately after my resurrection I moved at great speed to Roma. Maud moved to the Black Hair and sealed it. After which I burned the scroll to hell. Also moving behind his back. Live did not kill in front of his eyes, as it seems I keep my promises. Said I understood how painful it is, like Ashen, but I need Vedic problems. I understand Naruto. I myself already wanted to be his eye after all. To you he. Having said this, he smiled sadly with one eye. Sasuke and I continued our fight with Madara strong. However, my leg had to tinker with him, but I remembered how we tried to seal like him, and since this fruit can't move between dimensions, the plan looked very good. I approached the pacifier, whispered my plans in his ear. I created a clone and ordered the pacifiers to be put on his hand. I didn't put mine because for the printed one we don't need a clone. To his question, and you'll have time to offer your palm, I answered in this mode faster. So, we get up, glued to Madara, who was waiting for new attacks. I created 10 treasures and shouted, a lewd technique, a harem girl. Smoke appeared from you, showed it. There were also boots, drying ponytails, brunettes, blondes, and redheads. Madara, who didn't expect this, hesitated. What allowed me to seal his nipples when the last one used this on the model, exactly. This for victory, a rabble-rouser among people, Bijan, and in front of his father, his body began to dissipate. I promise that I'll tell the food with tears in my eyes and disappearing. Said my father. Tell him not to worry. He shoo. And I'm good, I'm not picky about the idea. I eat a lot of all sorts of things, mosh, every day. Sometimes I go to the springs. Although everyone says that there's a Lupin sitting there, what else? What else exactly? I have a lot of friends. They're all cool guys. I'm now thinking about what I would never get along with. But I never gave up. I wasn't sad, of course. I was completely abandoning, as it seems, the river. Of the third, I said so as not to worry my father because of my mother. And I also learned of the forbidden tire. Again, a perverted hermit, of course, he doesn't give a about the ban, but he was a great Sannin. I respect him more than anyone else today. I turned 17 with alcohol. I haven't met him yet. I have wonderful girls. They are both very similar to my mother. I was already saying with tears in my eyes, thank you. I eat a lot of all sorts of things. I also have dreams. I never leave my clan for advertising for car washes. By the way, about this, tell your mom that in 8 months there will be Nokias. I cried even harder. When you see your mom, tell her that I have nothing left to worry about. I finished. This is the last time. He hugged his father. After which his body fell apart and he floated in the air in the form of spirits. Although I am experiencing this moment for the second time, it does not get any easier. I will convey everything and take care of my grandchildren and the people. I'm sorry that we cannot see them. Having said this, he finally disappeared from the mayor, so he was on the ceiling from the sage who, like the others, stood among the tailed ones. I will change your feelings, but I must ask. Have you changed the answer to my question? No, super, old man, no. I also want to protect my dear people. Father. Do we need our help in removing the eternal cyclamen? Asked Kurama. Madara still managed to use this technical school, but fortunately, this time, so much time will not pass and our friends will not leave him with such a shambles. The growing game. All of you, for Skiranagana, they just have to simultaneously fold their hands in a certain position from the feet and, Yama, answering himself is somehow too simple. Yes. I studied this technique for a long time, there can be no mistakes, so you will tell Sasuke. Okay, I will disperse, but before that, under control, the tails, and then their volume affected who he has the same amount of. And last time it didn't even help that I gave him a hard time, my faithful one, then everything sucks, just like in my timeline. He closed. his tailed beasts in his father's chaebok and rushed. I didn't stop him, I wanted to test my strength to the maximum, because I definitely won't find another worthy opponent. After that, we started to run away. Our place is next to the finish line. Two young men are standing on the statues of two great people, the founders of Konohagakure. On the head of Uchiha Madara is a slightly pale brunette named Uchiha Sasuke. The other statue is Hashirama Sanja, a red-haired woman dressed in orange pants and a black uniform jacket named Uzumaki Naruto. These two were preparing for battle. One wanted to start a new war to destroy the 5 Kage and the tailed beasts. He thought that if there was one ruler in the world, he wouldn't brag about the beasts that used these powers, there wouldn't be any more. The second was going to keep the outside world. He believed that people would understand each other, and the tailed beasts wouldn't end for a long time. He didn't hope for eternal peace, because he understood that peace can only be temporary and in a specific territory with whom you understand that I will not allow you to do what you have planned. I only understand that you cannot stop me from even trying. You can whine that one attempt will be torture and the best. Arrogant asshole. We stood there, glaring at each other, putting ourselves like that for several minutes. We marinated in battle in the Tatitsa. Our smooth dance merged until the moment I began to use it in bed. After I began to dominate with the clones, she gave the cover a good beating. He turns on Shingon, the fight became equal again. He managed to block these cyclones and even his tech, but I couldn't do it enough. I didn't do it to directly attack Shingon, realizing that it would be even again. I spread the clone that I hid the entire fight and began to collect natural energy. Apparently, realizing that nothing was in store for Tatitsa, he began to use fire techniques, in particular fireballs. All his attacks were reflected using the Saiton vertical whirlpool technique. He nourished his body, due to which the speed increased significantly, and again he tried to compete with black lines. It became much faster. You can't defeat me. Peace, you remember the word of that Kurama, there, that it is not necessary to use scales and techniques if the enemy uses them. The dark bark asked Mom. Yes, my full-fledged smoke transferred his memories to the dark ones, just like then. The light one in front of him about his memories, of course, he lied to him. I'm just a seam. Addressed to me from the subconscious. The words are coming. I created 24 clans that began to form a hand, a huge Rasengan, barricades of huge dewdrops. The fortune teller said, 3 of my clones took turns, and all 20 pounced on the case. In the end, Susan responded at the seams and began to disintegrate. The dark part did not have time to accumulate chakras. Because of this, you do not want to walk as a full-fledged avatar. Okay, now he began his chakras. John, I placed mixed chakra in front of me. A huge blue samurai dressed in purple armor appeared. Surrender. Don't let me finally kill you. You cannot penetrate this armor. You cannot penetrate the armor, but you can use your trump card for chakra. You don't have to worry. The chakra you placed on your body seals is enough for another such avatar. And if you are also clones, you usually recreate it. I can collect as much chakra as during your last battle. How difficult is it? You know, with a discount on rights, you cannot penetrate me with conventional means. Barry smiled and began to form the strongest avatar at the moment. Roman, a minute later, a huge nine-tailed appeared on the battlefield, but not quite ordinary. It was purple. Not all of it. I covered it. So, with Kongo Fusan chains, he also had balls in his hands, a shield from the year of the house, now on the battlefield there was purple rice, red armor. Black, what else is there at home? No one do you have, what is it somewhere, what kind of eyes are these? Such eyes, they called him Chemrocycle, I then continued, unlike your Renogon that was given to you, I awakened them myself, I said how I dreamed of seeing. Denial on a face of complete surprise, he did not believe in bewilderment, anger for no reason. We began our duel. From our blows, a most important wave emanated from the chakras and smashed the floor under the warrior's feet. Even though it was Susan, there was chakra from all the tailed beasts on the frame border was no worse than his. They were easily blocked by my account, which is invulnerable to initiation, but I think the arrow will still break through the intrigue. I created 5 ordinary clones of avatars. I sent 4 of them, 2 distracted by the dangerous one, to collect natural energy. Sasuke understood that usually the emphasis would work like this, and in fact, the nipples were toned, so he moved on to his strongest attack, the arrow, but who would be surprised? The space-time barrier, I shouted, the symbols passed through the air and transformed into peculiar paths. The house, having got there, began to be sucked in. But I understood that the seal would not withstand such a strong technique. It gave me time to prepare. Hiroshin, I quickly pulled out a kunai from Kaida's body seal and with it, moved him to the ocean. I will never lose and again began to absorb the game tail, thereby restoring the garden. It continued according to the same scenario. Finally, until next Wednesday. This time, those who found hell thought about adding everything to her mattress because I collected mine with my head and there are still floors left. The voice of the subconscious was heard. Great, then right, I won't touch the accumulators, I said. I had 5 of these seals. They are invisible until you move a little chakra, and after using 1 seal, it was enough to completely restore my supply. After dispelling the Avatar clan, the remaining Avatar clones began to grow onto the original, as a result of which there were 6 hands in the hotel since I improved my control over form. In the previous one, my timelines were stronger. Patrice, the sky was moving away from me. A yellow glow from him turned purple, hitting the ground. We again began our Malavam. Everything got to the point that the nipples could not use the ability to be at the same time if there are not enough activation coins. The technique. He, having broken 1 seal, the accumulator and the composition of Adam Rosingan's hand, pressed his nipples into his stomach. After this attack, he could no longer move. You know what, with whom in this war again, I felt with one team. I could not kill you for the old twitch, but we are not cartoons, and I am crazy checks. It is necessary to say this. A man from the seal in one head of the checks, taking his eyes and cooked in steam and planted eyes in the checks for the safety of the eyes. I was not worried because my regeneration was at the level of Madara and maybe even higher. After that, when they caught me, as I actually opened my eyelids, I looked into the river that was flowing. The emphasis on the ending, blue eyes were looking at me. I typed a check and I saw Irina Gunturing us advise Kuriyama tried to activate myself. Well, at least not. At first the idea seemed stupid, and with this I no longer have this let's be a father, but after I sent B-class check I saw a familiar recording of Gunablashoker. Apparently, I will only have abilities left. And then Kuram explained to me that this probably remained because the cat and Sigana are in my genes. While you are in my genes, it means that the children will have a cigarette. I asked, no. This will only happen if the child is clear. It seems to me that even for the best, we don't know what will happen. For example, 100 years after my death, suddenly some of my stream will have such power and it will corrupt him, so I think it's for the best. I think so too. Okay. I'll just stop chakras, like mine. I measure Uchiha. He took a lot, and if after full formation, then the amount will be increased for a while until you use it up. It will be restored to the usual amount. Then Kuram united with the dark part and he got all the memories of the dark one. At once. He saw him older while the tailed ones were dangling in all sorts of ways on the field. He ran away, pooping carefully. I'm glad you're okay. Come on, that's definitely Sakura, he'll recognize him. No, I had to kill him. To take away my eyes. To dispel. My friend, what then? She asked. I had no choice, either he or I should leave to go without a father. I don't want to be the answer. How are you? The people there aren't injured. Asked about poop. No, let's go to the others, and then home. The salvation of events has passed. 4 years have passed. I finally knew a quiet life with my wives, with children. I have 3 of them, 2 of them gave birth to a boy. A girl, the eldest boy, we named him after his father, Karen. Yes, and what is on his table? Karen has already seen the character of Titan, calm and reasonable. Karen's father gave her a chance at life. He sacrificed himself to her mothers, holding back people seized by the castle. The girl who was a year younger. We named her after my mother. She looked very much like my mother at birth, that's why we named her. So, when the word yes, you're a bone, doubts, and breakouts were arranged, I was left with another boy. He was born a week later, waiting for something more than an individual in my forest. There are 2 years with him. It was already possible to reveal my character with candle-like interference. Ours, regarding the clan, bet everything. Heroes, I had the opportunity to find the Uzumaki survivors. He, with the help of all 5 great and some small countries, during this time we reached 89 people, not small numbers. In 2 years we plan to move. He has already been almost completely restored. Something is holding me back. The villages, even though Konoha betrayed him, came in when there, but still, this is my home. Yes, I wouldn't want to leave the place for which they gave their parents their lives. Okay, enough about relatives. What about my friends, grandmas? We need people like that after being recognized as survivors. Fats, we haven't yet. A month after the rebirth of the perverted hermit, they still started dating, such as the day of mutual declaration of love, saw through another wedding together. And 9 months later, Hajirama was born. Part of this is popular, yes, watch Return. Took the last name because he did not have his own. I became the godfather of the boy and rock sensei, after the war, nevertheless. Hit on his sister, Yaman. It turned out that Rama was not his favorite food, her swamp, although Roman was delicious, but the main thing is hanging on his king. And then there was Yaman. Now they are married and they have a little one growing up. Love Ramada, named Charam, as it seems, although he was a Valinok in these matters. Because of the books, the Godfather still made us take a closer look at Mitashi. Why her? Because the river of his character can knock all this out of us. A perverted fate at the moment. Tenko, in the 3rd month. The surprise was that 4 months after the war, we learned about the relationship. About finding the right person. He looked closely at his brother, although we were surprised. But there is nothing like that there, it is welcomed, as in ours. There are no children. Yet. Sakura has come to terms with her death. She stopped going out in public, chatting with friends, and also started singing. She looked like a woman, her face facing the house. The only one who could somehow get me to talk was that I was a guy. Considering that there was no emotion. The slipper distracted me from recalling the results of the past. A little voice said, "Let's go eat." Everyone is waiting for you. She shouted with a bold smile and jumped into my arms. I'm going to my daughter's. We went into the kitchen. Sit down, honey, and at the same time, we told my wife, after which we smiled. I have the best family and life. Thank you all for watching the video with you. You liked it, you liked it. You subscribed. And if you haven't done so yet, do it soon because it's not difficult for you. I'm pleased. But good luck to everyone with you. Bye bye.